sure the coach had told him, do not fumble.
And it's a first down. That'll wrap it up. We have just received the news that Courageous has won the America's Cup in 4 straight. Way to go, Ted Turner. And don't forget, following our ball game, NFL 77, they'll update the America's Cup, and they will also update all the scores in the National Football League and the baseball scores. First down for the Patriots. Clock is running. Moving on the 35-second mark.
Should have the quarterback probably just fallen. Grogan probably fallen right there.
They're using all of the 30-second clock, of course. The flag was dropped on the play.
They had to use 31 seconds. That's why they called it. Now he's going to have to take another spear in the back.
The correct terminology is Ted Turner has defended the cup. For our yachtsmen that are viewing. You saw the time remaining. First down, 15. Then he turns and checks the clock and sees that he does not have to run another play, so that'll wrap it up here.
Kansas City timeout.
Kansas City did have one timeout remaining. Our stats were incorrect, and so they stop it here. So he'll fall on it one more time. That's what it'll amount to. It's been a good ball game. Good opener for both teams. New England, with the weak schedule that they have, and also with the strong ball club that we have, we talked at the top of the telecast about the fact they've got to replace Leon Gray and John Hanna, and I think the word is still out on Jordan and Brock on the left side of the offensive line. They played good, but not consistently good.
Because of their schedule. The defense for New England
is
what won this football game for that football team. It wasn't the offense, although the offense came up with some good plays. Calhoun, Cunningham ran well, but it was the defense that turned the tide for the New England Patriots.
And I thought the Kansas City Chiefs acquitted themselves very well.
They did. I thought they played a very fine game. If it weren't for a couple of breakdowns and situations, they would have won the football game. Which a lot of people didn't think that Kansas City would even be in a lot of football games. In particular, this game against a very fine, young football team, New England Patriots. New England has it all. They have an outstanding offense. They've got an outstanding defense. And they've got great kicking.
The final score, once again, is New England 21 and Kansas City 17. This is Charlie Jones along with Lynn Dawson. So long from Foxborough, Massachusetts. And don't forget, more football on NBC next Sunday following NFL 77, a doubleheader. The big game will be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Oakland Raiders.
Season premiere on the Oregon Trail starring Rod Taylor, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
The Sperry NFL Report is being brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, where the big idea is making machines do more so man can do more. Quick update on a couple of scores. New England beat Kansas City 21-17, and Philadelphia over Tampa Bay 13-3 are now final scores. Let's take a look at some other action now. The Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. Chicago leading in that game after 3 periods of play by 27-13, but I got a little bit out of order here because I don't have my card. So we're going to jump over to the Miami-Buffalo game first. A lot of rain in Buffalo. A real fine touchdown run by Norm Boulash for the Miami Dolphins. But the big question is, how did O.J. do, Brian?
Well, O.J. didn't do so swell, and that's probably why Buffalo got shut out 13-zip by the Dolphins. Combination of the rain up in Buffalo and the Miami defense made O.J.'s 77 debut a little tough for him. 21 carries, 71 yards. He hurt his ankle, played sporadically, and really didn't have that good a day against the Dolphins. It was 3-0 at the half, and in the third quarter, the Dolphins added a field goal to make it 6-0 and then kicked off. And Buffalo's Charles Roan had trouble fielding it right there. When he started running it back, he had trouble holding on to it. Don Nottingham knocked it away. Number 41, Norris Thomas, jumped on it. That put Miami in scoring position almost at Buffalo's 20-yard line. And at that point, they didn't waste their opportunity. Jay Randolph picks up the touchdown call.
Now a chance to really do some business for the Dolphins. First down at the 20. Going through is Boulash. Touchdown, Miami! The sign of a good football club. Take advantage of your breaks.
After the touchdown, Buffalo mounted one of their few drives of the day. And they were few and far between. They moved down the field to Miami 20, but a pitch out to O.J. was fumbled. He tried to recover it, kicked it ahead. Ferguson finally fell on it, but by that time the drive was dead. And in effect, so were the Bills in this ball game. Miami won it going away 13-0, and everybody says Miami wasn't supposed to be anything. But you couldn't prove it by the Bills today, Lee.
Right, okay, I'm sorry for getting out of place, but I will repeat that the Chicago Bears are leading Detroit 27-13, and in that game, Walter Payton has a couple of touchdowns, and in the first half, 12 rushes for 130 yards, so Payton is really off and running to a second NFC title, and in his race with O.J., he's now ahead. The other NFC game that we have for you so far, 3 periods of play, the Green Bay Packers are leading the New Orleans Saints. The score there is 24-14. And as we have been hearing from Bart Starr for several years, the Pack is back, the Pack is back. Well, maybe they are, because New Orleans had a very fine preseason, but now the Packers are leading 24-14 in the third period of play in that game. Later on today, yet to come, the National Football League games just underway. Baltimore at Seattle, the Jets at Houston, San Diego at Oakland, St. Louis at Denver, and Dallas at Minnesota. More NFL 77 after this word from Sperry.
There are people in this country who wouldn't have food on the table, a roof over their heads, or clothes for their children without some kind of welfare relief. But there's a much larger group that also needs relief. The people who pay for welfare, the taxpayer. Here in Los Angeles County, something's being done about it. Sperry Univac is helping to computerize millions of welfare records. Now welfare workers can find information in seconds, where it used to take hours or days. It's estimated that this will save 10 million tax dollars a year in welfare costs without cutting benefits a dime. Helping people on welfare, as well as those who pay for it, is one more way Sperry Univac computers are enabling our government to help more people for fewer tax dollars.
Another example of Sperry Rand Corporation's commitment to the future. Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
The Atlanta Falcons staged a big upset today, beating the Los Angeles Rams 17-6. The big question in L.A. has been who should be the starting quarterback. Joe Namath got the nod. Touchdown pass to Harold Jackson early. They missed the extra point, but after that it was all Atlanta. 17-6 the final. So the question in L.A. may have to be not who should be the quarterback, but Merlin Olsen, will you please come home? Merlin, of course, is now working for NBC as a broadcaster. Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals in a big divisional clash for the championship of Ohio. The Bengals went into the season thinking they were a Super Bowl caliber team. Cleveland had other thoughts. They won the game 13-3. We have some highlights from that one.
You know, Lee, when Cleveland posted that great record last year, everybody says, well, they were surprising people. Well, if that's the case, they surprised Cincinnati today, but I think instead they are just a very good ball club. We see Brian Sipe right here throwing long for Greg Pruitt. Watch this catch. Super catch by the little man out of Oklahoma. 40-yard gain. It set up a score for Cleveland. It wasn't just Sipe's arm that was getting the job done against Cincinnati's defense. It was also the ground game. Pruitt's running mate right here is Larry Poole, sweeping right in behind some good blocking, picking up 13 yards for a touchdown. This one made it 13-0 Cleveland. I know they didn't score again the rest of the day. It was their defense that held on. In the second half, it was the Cincinnati defense that tried to get the Bengals back into the ball game. We get some action with Kirk Dowdy's call.
Sipe out of the pocket, tip, intercepted. 50-yard line. Reggie Williams has it. There's the first turnover by the Browns in the game. And Cincinnati has the ball in the Browns' territory.
Well, it was rookie tackle Wilson Whitley out of Houston who tipped that ball up in the air and set them up. But Cincinnati's problem today was they were plagued by mistakes. We're going to get a look at one of them here in the third period. Cincinnati, 1st and 10, barking on the door. Cleveland's 34. Anderson starts to scramble, loses the ball when he's hit by Mike St. Clair. Ball was recovered by Earl Edwards. That play was indicative of how Cleveland was playing all day long and really how the Bengal offense was really hurt by those mistakes. 13-3 Cleveland, and that's a surprise.
It is possible that they made the wrong decision altogether on quarterbacks in Los Angeles. Ron Jaworski led Philadelphia to a big win, 13-3 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Jaworski, 2 touchdown passes, one to Tom Sullivan and the other one to Keith Krepfel. 13-3 the final score there. The Giants beat the Washington Redskins 20-17, a last-minute victory. Joe Danello, a 30-yard field goal with 3 seconds left on the clock. Seems like Washington gets involved with games like that every year. This one they lost, 20-17 to the New York Giants. A game that's just underway in a very important game this week in the National Football League. Minnesota jumped out in front of the Dallas Cowboys. The score there in the first quarter, 7-0. We'll try and have some more details on that later on. So that's what we have for you right now. And the Sperry Report will continue after this message.
I want you to meet my new business partner. He's a management genius, a whiz with figures, and he doesn't cost me much. Here he is. Not him. Sperry Univac's BC7 computer. What I really like about BC is he speaks and understands English, so we don't need a professional programmer. Inventory, please. It only took us a few days to get to know each other, and now he gives me any fact I need in seconds. Inventory or payroll, order entry, anything. He doesn't need a big office or special air conditioning. He even has his own health plan. If BC doesn't feel good, I just call these guys, Sperry Univac. What a partner. He's teaching me more about my business than I ever knew before. Hey, partner, how do you like your coffee? With or without?
Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
One of the powers in the AFC, the New England Patriots, got rocked back on their heels early on by Kansas City as the Chiefs scored 2 quick touchdowns, but the Patriots came back showing a lot of poise, and they won the ball game by a score of 21-17. Some very interesting plays in that one, and Bryant has them for you.
Well, Lee, you were right. Those fans up in New England got a very, very big scare early on in the ball game. Kansas City has an awful lot of offense, and they showed it to the Patriots early on. Starting in the first period, Mike Livingston right here goes up top, looking deep for Henry Marshall, good receiver out of Missouri in his second year. This one was good for 49 yards down to the Patriots' 16-yard line. It was only a couple of plays later when the Chiefs found themselves 2nd and 4 at New England's 10. Mike Livingston gave it to Tony Reed, a fine young rookie out of Colorado. He scored, made it 14-0 Chiefs. It stunned the fans in the stands, but it made Coach Paul Wiggin a very, very happy man on the sideline for the time being. Patriots showed their merit, showed what they're made of before the half was out. 3rd down at the 35. Grogan hands off to Calhoun. He reverses to Darryl Stingley. It's off to the races, 35 yards for the score. Cut the deficit in half. Before the half was out, with about a minute to play, Grogan went up top, looked for Stingley once again, found him over the middle. Touchdown right here, the man from Purdue. Stingley takes it in. That made it 14-14 at the half. Patriots came on in the second half, showed what they're made of, won it 21-17. Lee?
First week of the football season, of course, today, but the baseball season goes on, and there's still a race in the American League East. The Yankees were cruising along 6-0 for 8 innings on a Ron Guidry shutout, but the Detroit Tigers got 5 in the 9th. However, the Yankees did prevail. Dave Kingman had a home run, his second in 2 games as a Yankee. Reggie Jackson at number 30 for New York. Maybe George Steinbrenner knew what he was doing when he picked up Kingman. Baltimore is leading Boston now by a score of 4-3. Now, the Yankees' magic number was 12 going into today's game. It's now 11, could possibly be 10, according to how the Boston-Baltimore game turns out. Moving over to the American League West, Minnesota and Texas. They're in the 6th inning of the first game of a doubleheader with Texas in the lead by a score of 5-2. Kansas City is leading Seattle. The score there is 4-3 after 6 innings of play. Kansas City went into today's action with a magic number of 5, could very well be 4, even 3 by the time today's action is over. Chicago, by the way, is leading California by a score of 6-3. That's the final now in the first game of the doubleheader. Over in the National League East, Montreal and Pittsburgh are tied 4-all after 7 innings of play. St. Louis Cardinals are really dealing it out to Philadelphia. It's 12-2 after 6, favor of the Cards, but Philadelphia well on top there in the National League East and should be on their way to a division title. In the West, Atlanta and Los Angeles, Cincinnati at San Francisco will be played a little bit later on. But should the Dodgers win and the Cincinnati Reds lose today, the Dodgers will be the first team to clinch a pennant in Major League Baseball so far this year. NFL 77 will continue after this word from Sperry.
Man against the sea, an ancient challenge with modern complications. More and bigger ships, the biggest ships that ever sailed. The supertanker, as much as 500,000 tons of oil afloat and moving. All the responsibility of one man. To help him, Sperry developed a computerized collision avoidance system. It shows the captain the position, speed, and course of as many as 40 ships for ranges up to 25 miles. And it shows him how to avoid them. This Sperry system helps ships get where they're going safely, and it helps protect the sea they share. Another example of Sperry Rand Corporation's commitment to the future. Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
Another big Sunday of football coming up next week, starting at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL 77. Following that with our 1 o'clock Eastern Time games, which include the Baltimore-New York Jet game, as well as the Seattle-Cincinnati game, Brian.
Then we'll have a couple of 2 o'clock games, San Diego versus Kansas City in a battle of AFC Western teams, and also Houston versus Green Bay.
3 games with 4 o'clock Eastern Time starts, Buffalo and Denver in one. Another one will pit Miami against San Francisco. And the third will be a rematch in that violent series between Pittsburgh and Oakland.
And on NFL 77, we'll have a special report on the George Atkinson-Chuck Noll controversy that wound up in the courtroom.
For Brian Gumbel, I'm Lee Leonard, and the Sperry NFL Report has been brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, where the big idea is making machines do more so man can do more.
Hot young comic Richard Pryor with his own show, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
This is NBC New York. Control location for the Kansas City-New England game at New England, September 18th. This is NBC New York. Control location for the Kansas City-New England game at New England, September 18th. This is NBC New York. Control location for the Kansas City New England game at New England, September 18th. This is NBC New York. Control location for the Kansas City New England game at New England, September 18th.
Because the Schlitz football offer is here. Look for this display at participating stores and save up to $5 on an official Wilson football. Come on.
Pick up Schlitz and have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word. Pass the Schlitz.
Cold night, Bob. Did you put in the Prestone antifreeze?
Prestone, Prestone. Who needs Prestone?
Prestone. You need Prestone.
If your antifreeze is worn out or you don't have enough, you could be in trouble. So put in a fresh fill of Prestone, too, to prevent corrosion and freeze-ups.
Prestone! We need Prestone!
Prestone. You need Prestone.
What I said before went away is that Houston had a clipping penalty. They had a holding penalty in the offensive line. That hurt them. And then on the punt return, New York with a holding penalty. So they've got to eliminate the penalties if they want to do anything.
3.5 left, first quarter, no score. Houston to the offense. First and 10 at their 11-yard line. This is Hardiman. Good second effort by Hardiman. Outside linebacker Bob Martin making the stop.
Well, that hole was blocked up when he ran into it. He just kept his momentum and picked up the yardage by himself.
Pickup of 9 for Hardiman. 2nd and 1. Ken Burrow, 0-0. Wide receiver to the left. Out of the I formation, Pastorini running the ball for him. And he's got the first down. Salam and Ebersol making the stop on Ron Coleman.
You know, so far this year, just talking to the Jet organization, they are very, very high on Barzalauskas. He came into the league 4 years ago. His first year had a fairly decent year. For 2 years, he really didn't do anything, Marvin, and all of a sudden this preseason he came alive.
That's Hardiman again. Salam and Buttle make the stop. So 2-yard advance, 2nd and 8 now for Houston at the 25. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd and 8 call for Dan Pastorini. They shift to the regular process. Hardiman gets the call once again, and it's a short pickup. Abdul Salam making the stop on Hardiman.
You know, we thought that just the Jets were going to run that kind of ball control offense, Marvin. Looks like both teams want to do it.
The Oilers have switched away from the approach of the home run ball to more of a conservative approach.
They really have, and one reason is because they double Burrow, and it's tough to pass him to throw it.
3rd and 5, swing pass. It's got Hardiman, but Hardiman not able to pick it up. Barzalauskas there to make the stop. And punter Parsley checks in. So the Houston Oilers will give up the football. We have 40 seconds remaining now in the first quarter. The Jets and the Oilers are scoreless. There's Bruce Harper, rookie out of Kutztown State, only 5'8", 174 pounds. And Cliff Parsley. back at his 12. Hopper at his 35 to the 40, 45. So the Jets take over at their 45-yard line. Mike Voigt there to make the stop. There's a break of the action. We'll be back in Houston in a moment.
I pick up trucks like blue jeans, sure been around a lot. A lot of folks for a lot of years been glad for all they've got. Times have changed and styles have changed, they did not stand still. They caught the spirit of today, and they always will. Dependable and versatile, beautiful machines. Dodges into pickups like America's into jeans.
When you go places, the show places, a Sheraton. Nowhere on earth you'd rather be. From mountains, slopes, to sandy beaches, the nightlife swings, the good life reaches. Across the land, around the world, as far as you can see. When you go places, the show places, a Sheraton.
Marv Albert with Paul McGuire from the Astrodome in Houston. A sellout crowd here at the Astrodome. Not the maximum capacity because the baseball configuration is still here on the field. So about 45,000. For opening day 1977. 14 seconds left first quarter. No score. And the Jets take over at their 46-yard line. Charlie White gets a couple. And time is running down here in the first quarter. White stopped by Buffet and Washington. And that will do it now for this first quarter. At the end of one, the score, the New York Jets, nothing. The Houston Oilers, nothing.
Sir, we all know Mobil 1 is the oil that saves you gas. Give me another good reason to buy it.
Well, it lasts. It lasts.
How long will Mobil 1 last? We drove it 15,000 miles without an oil change. And after all that, found Mobil 1 still protects as well as new ordinary oil.
It lasts. It lasts.
Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas, saves you oil changes.
Look, Holmes, the most important Chevy owners.
Yes, Watson, as I suspected, another carnapping by diplomats.
Dodge introduces a fiendishly seductive new car in dashing two-door, a brilliantly understated four-door. The Diplomat, a great new mid-price car. Here's more seductive luxury than you ever dreamed of in a manageable new size.
You're carnapping all right, Watson.
Diplomat, the fiendishly seductive new car at your Dodge dealers now.
By Diplomat, Holmes.
Precisely, Watson.
The Quintrix 2-color picture tube from Panasonic brings you a very lifelike picture. Because Quintrix 2 is our inline picture tube with an extra pre-focus lens that concentrates and focuses the electron beam to bring you Panasonic's sharpest picture ever. So lifelike, you may even feel you're part of the picture. Quintrix 2, one more reason Panasonic is just slightly ahead of our time.
Okay, as we get underway here in the second quarter at the Astrodome, we're looking at Houston head coach Bun Phillips on the sideline. Jets in possession, 2nd and 9 at their 47-yard line. Richard Todd to throw. And out he goes, Robert Brazil. A 3-year pro out of Jackson State has come up with the first sack of the afternoon.
Well, one thing on that play there is that the offensive backs did not pick up the linebackers blitzing, and Houston's got a strong rush with Buffet and with Culp. Young is still learning, but when you just have 3 people, you've got to be very conscious of those linebackers because they could send 2 or 3 or even a weak safety at you, and in that case, it was the linebacker, Brazil, that made the stop.
3rd and 19, and Houston has sent in the extra defensive back. Zeke Moore has checked in, so they go with 5 men in the secondary. 3rd and long for Todd. complete with the intended receiver, Bruce Harper, and the Jets will be forced to punt.
Boy, on that play there, Petts just really didn't even touch the thing, and he was in on Todd, and Brazil's the guy that broke the play up downfield.
There's Dwayne Carroll. And Billy White Shoes Johnson, 4-year pro out of Widener College, had the sensational rookie year 2 seasons back. Last year, a bit on the disappointing side. Oh, the breakthrough, and Carroll is hit down by Ted Thompson. Number 51, Ted Thompson. And an unusual play. Carroll was so surprised he wasn't able to get the punt off.
And all Thompson did was go up over the up back.
Wayne Carroll stopped by Ted Thompson, and the Oilers take over down at the Jets' 21-yard line.
Ted Thompson surprised everybody, including the up back. That was a beautiful play by the defense.
Slot left formation now, with Pullman in the slot. Interference, the call against the Jets. Ken Burrow, the intended receiver, down at the 9-yard line.
And I don't think there was any question in that call. That was on Taylor, Ed Taylor, number 38.
It is first and goal now for Houston. Down at the 9, again a slot left formation, and Pullman in the slot. The long deep back is Hardeman. Intended for Burrow, but overthrown. Second and goal at the 9. Ed Taylor covering. 0-0. Kenny Burrow.
You know, that was excellent coverage by Taylor. All right, we're going to see Thompson. Now, what you're going to see is Thompson, you don't see him coming over the up back right here, but you're going to see him run into Carroll. Carroll was so surprised when he looked up right here, which most punters really shouldn't do in the first place. There he was, and just Thompson fell on him. Good play.
Second and goal now from the 9. Hardeman out of the 6-yard line. Abdul Salam covering him up on the play.
Going back to that first play from scrimmage when Pastorini just took the ball and threw it to Burrow in the corner, the play before this one. You know, Marv, that is the toughest coverage for a corner man, because what happens is that you can play it bump, you can hit him one time, but you can't hit anybody when the ball's in the air. And all Pastorini did was step back and fire the ball, and Taylor, the smart thing, just laid off his man and covered him. Good coverage by the defense.
It is third and goal. A lot of movement on the Jet side. The handoff to Hardeman, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Hardeman stopped. John Ebersol, the middle linebacker, number 55, and Abdul Salam, number 74, the right defensive tackle. And the Oilers will go for the 3 points. Skip Butler checking in with the field goal unit. John Hadel will hold. This a 23-yard attempt. Make it 22. And it is no good. It is no good. Oh, there's a break in the action now with the score. Jets nothing, Oilers nothing.
America the beautiful, she's big and she's free. There's no place like her on the earth, and will probably never be. She's been a long time growing, and she's moving right along. Gotta keep the feet going like a rhythm of a song. We can't wait for tomorrow. Our power can't wait. We must transmit the power to our homes and factories. We gotta make the highway safe for folks like you and me. Our cars should be lighter for the most of every mile. We must recycle and
He's a field goal kicking mule, and his name is Gus. Edward Asner, Don Knotts, Tom Bosley, and Tim Conway star in the Disney movie hit Gus. Tonight at 7, 6 Central Time on NBC.
Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Astrodome in Houston. I do apologize for the quality of the picture that is coming through in New York City. And we are making every effort to improve it from the Astrodome here in Houston, where we are scoreless following the missed field goal by Skip Butler. Tony White, number 30, the ball carrier, Elvin Bethea, and Ted Washington combined to make the tackle. For White, pickup of 2, 2nd and 8 now at the 22. There is White. White led the club in rushing in preseason, averaging about 4 yards per carry. 2nd and 8 calls for Todd. Todd is 2 for 4 thus far in the air. Intercepted by Greg Bingham. Bingham inside the 30, and the Oilers take over. Good rush by Robert Brazil, and there's Bingham. 5-year pro out of Purdue, picking off a Richard Todd pass.
And it looks like any time there is 2nd down and long yardage, the Houston Oilers are going to blitz. They did it with Brazil that time, and Bingham got back into the pattern and picked it up beautifully.
And there's a break in the action here at the Astrodome. The score, the Jets nothing, Houston nothing.
Lists, maintenance tips, and service records. By checking it from time to time, your Gold Hat mechanic can help you keep up with needed auto service. And as a maintenance record, it could make your car worth more at trade-in time. So pick up your Napa log at stations and garages displaying this sign. It's absolutely free. But it could be the most valuable thing you ever put in your glove compartment. That's NAPA. We help keep America moving.
Schlitz wants you to have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word.
Hey, now's the time to pick up plenty of Schlitz.
Pass the word, pass the word, pass the word.
Because the Schlitz football offer is here. Look for this display at participating stores and save up to $5 on an official Wilson football. Come on.
Pick up Schlitz and have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word. Pass the Schlitz.
Live prime-time coverage of Major League Baseball playoff action begins Tuesday, October 4th on NBC.
All right on the right-hand side of your screen, you see number 54, Greg Bingham. Buffet goes to the inside. Brazil puts a lot of heat on the outside right here and forces the pass. And now you're going to see Greg Bingham getting deep enough to make the interception. Just a pretty play.
And the Houston Oilers take over at the Jet 28-yard line. Running backs are Coleman and Hardiman. Ken Burrow was the intended receiver as it was deflected away. John Ebersol getting a piece of it.
Oh, I'll tell you, the natives are getting a little restless here, too. Pastorini goes out, a little short fake, and nobody hit the ball. The ball just flipped out of his hands, Marv. And he wisely fell on the ball.
So it is back to the 35-yard line. A 2nd and 17. He's got Coleman. Cody. And knocked back the other way by Ebersol. So Ronnie Coleman coming out of the backfield, picking up about 5 on the play. The Yankees making it a sweep this afternoon in Detroit, 6-5 the final. And Red Sox and Orioles are tied at 4 at the end of 6. NBC's baseball coverage will continue this Saturday as we bring you the best of that American League East pennant race. Pasqualini for Burrow. Burrow going deep. Was hit and turned around and could not find the football. And Pasqualini is hearing it from the crowd. Ed Keller covering Burrow very well.
But it really wasn't Pasqualini's fault that time, Marv, because Burgess Owens, or Schaefer Suggs, number 23, had a the blitz on from the safety position, and he's the guy to put the heat on Pastorini.
Now Skip Butler, who missed from 22 yards earlier, will try right here from 47. And it is no good. Penalty marker thrown down at the far side of the field. Offside against the Jets.
He got a short reprieve. If he'd had that 5 yards the last time, the ball would have made it. Now, this is the time when you're a kicker, Marv, that you really don't want to
Number 48,
miss the
defense,
field goal.
4th down.
Especially when you get that second chance.
Well, Butler, who missed from 22 and then 47, gets another opportunity right here. This will be a 42-yard attempt. Butler not noted for long-range field goal kicking. And it is no good. A line drive off to the right side. There's a break in the action now with the score. Jets nothing, Oilers nothing.
When it's so cold, a radiator can freeze solid, and you're still rolling. That's the mark of Xerex. When it's so hot, a radiator can blow its top, and you're still driving cool. That's the mark of Xerex. When corrosion is eating holes in radiators, and you're still going strong. That's the mark of Xerex. Start fresh now with year-round protection. That's the mark of Xerex. Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
Patrick Duffy is the man from Atlantis. Adventure unlike anything you've ever seen on land or sea or undersea. New this fall on NBC.
Well, coming up at halftime, the NFL 77 halftime players who look suspiciously like NBC's Saturday night not ready for primetime players. They'll be along with a look at football as it's never been seen before. At halftime, Charlie White flying the right side as the Jets take over at their 24 following the missed field goal by Skip Butler, who's really had a terrible time of it here in the second quarter. Cope and Burton combined to make the stop on White. 2-yard advance, 2nd and 8 now for the Jets. 10.5 left, second quarter. Chicago Bears defeating the Detroit Lions 30-20. Richard Todd. And Hopper off the pitch. 30, 35. Good run by Hopper to pick up the first down. Mike Uyghur, free safety, bringing Hopper down. Well, a beautiful introduction to the National Football League by Bruce Hopper. He's done everything right. That time an 18-yard advance. Good block by Gary Petz to spring Hopper loose.
I'm glad to see Todd now trying to run a little bit at the strength of Houston and finds out now that he can.
First down for the Jets at their 44. Charlie White. White goes the middle. Ted Washington, the outside linebacker on the left, making the stop on White. 2nd and 7 coming up off the 3-yard advance, and Bruce Hopper comes back to replace number 30, Charlie White.
All right, the play before, when I said they ran to Houston's strength, they ran to Bethea in Brazil. Now, the last play they ran back to the weak side, which would be Young because he's a rookie. But what's happening, the Houston Oilers are pursuing so well, and they're overcompensating for Young, and that's putting him right in the area of the play all the time.
Big rush by Bethea. Todd goes sideline and throws it away. Richard Todd chased by Elvin Bethea. Wesley Walker the alleged intended receiver.
All right, here's Bethea again beating Petz, and this is the third time in this game so far. He just really runs around him and misses the tackle, and then you'll see Culp come up and put a little heat on him. You know, you've got to get Bethea to the outside and run. Get your face in his face where he can't see where he's going, and Petz right now is not doing that.
All right, the rookie out of Purdue, Scott Gherking, in the lineup, along with Bruce Hopper. They are the running backs. And Hopper, off the give, gets out to the 49-yard line. Well, the Jets short of a first down as Hopper is stacked up by Bingham and Washington. And a hand for the Houston defense as they leave the field. I said Wesley Walker, the alleged receiver, because the fans here are unhappy. They thought that Todd purposely threw that ball away.
You mean because he threw it in the dugout?
Yeah. Here is Billy Johnson as the lone deep man back at his 11th. And Dwayne Carroll with a 10-man Houston rush now. Last time Carroll did not get the punt away. This time, very good protection. Johnson at the 15. Johnson to the 20. To the 25. Stutter step move, but he's plowed under. Good coverage by the Jets. Led by Tom Newton, backup running back, but a penalty marker is down once again. 36-yard punt, 10-yard return by White Shoes Johnson. The referee is Jerry Markbright, the umpire Gordon Wells, the head linesman is Ray Dodez, the line judge Bill Reynolds, the back judge Tom Kelleher, and the field judge today is Ed Merrifield. We have 8 minutes, 4 seconds remaining second quarter, and there's no score. A holding penalty call against Houston. So a holding call against the Houston Oilers, and they will mark it off.
The way it stands right now, they've got the New York Jets offense against the Houston Oilers offense, and I think they better change it around a little bit.
All right, here's the referee now, Jerry Markbright. Markbright, number 9. Some confusion as to where that ball should be spotted. It's getting worse and worse for the Oilers.
On the run back.
On the hold, the Oilers are driven all the way back. They will put it in play at their 8-yard line. Now there's a break in the action. The score, Jets nothing, Oilers nothing.
Schlitz Light. Schlitz Light beer has a fair fewer calories than our other fine beer, and all the taste beer drinkers expect from Schlitz.
Why does he drink that?
It is his beer. The only light beer with gusto.
Schlitz Light.
Beer drinkers know it took Schlitz to bring the taste to light.
J.C. Penney presents a revolution in comfort. Sunbackers. Sunbackers hug your ankle with a padded collar. Surround your foot with soft, natural leather. A specially shaped toe follows the contour of your foot. When you step on an inner cushion of foam. And at $22 or less, Sunbackers are as comfortable on your wallet as they are on your feet. Sunbackers for men and women, only at J.C. Penney. A comfortable shoe at a down-to-earth price.
The Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, part of an NFL doubleheader in most areas, next Sunday on NBC.
Yes, much NFL action coming up next week here on NBC, next Sunday, but next Saturday. NBC will continue to focus on that tight American League East pennant race as the baseball season goes right down to the wire. And we'll bring you one of those games, either Yankees, Toronto, Boston, Detroit, or Baltimore, Cleveland. Right here on NBC next Saturday afternoon. Bum Phillips has inserted his 2 rookie running backs, number 26, Rod Carpenter, number 45. Tim Wilson, Pastorini, though, throwing for Burrow, and he overthrows. Burrow in a foot race. Ed Taylor, the right cornerback. Burgess Owens, the free safety. Double covering, 0-0.
You know, they said there might have been some question about the strength of Todd's arm, but I'll tell you right now, there is absolutely none as far as Pastorini is concerned, because he just fired that ball 68 yards in the air, Marv.
Pastorini, coming off a poor season, had asked to be traded during the course of the offseason. Now says he's happy. Last year he complained frequently about his offensive line. Pastorini 3 for 7 for only 12 yards thus far. Warren Anderson has come on now at wide receiver. He's at the top of your screen, replacing Burrow. And the swing pass. Jimmy Giles, the rookie tight end. Stopped by Schaefer Suggs.
Schaefer Suggs that time didn't want to know anything. All he did, he just broke. That was a quick screen to the flanker to the outside. He just broke right through and made the tackle.
Seven and a half left in the first half. Jets and Oilers are 0-0. 3rd and 6 now for Houston from their 12-yard line. Pastorini going sideline, overthrows, intended for number 83, Warren Anderson. Ed Taylor, the right cornerback, covering on the play. And once again, Hunter Parsley checks in. Bun Phillips, Houston coach, shaking his head on the sideline as if to say, hey, what's going on here? Cliff Parsley will punt from his end zone. Rookie out of Oklahoma State, led the Big Eight in punting for 3 years. And at midfield in single safety, it is Bruce Hopper. All right, Hopper at the 40. Broke one tackle, but is hit down inside the 40-yard line. Al Johnson, backup defensive back, getting to Hopper. There's a timeout on the field now. With the score, the New York Jets 0, Houston Oilers 0.
Dan and Barb wanted style. They got themselves a Dodge. Fred needed a pickup at a price he could afford and got himself a Dodge. Doug needed lots of space. He got himself a Dodge. Well, Jane wanted freedom, so she got herself a Dodge. Sam needed a roomy cab. He got himself a Dodge. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they need. For the last 10 years, that's what's made Dodge the fastest growing truck company in America. Now, Joe needed a hauling truck. He got himself a Dodge. Old Bill wanted a working truck. He got himself a Dodge. Mike wanted a truck for winter. He got himself a Dodge. And Dave wanted a wicked pickup. He got himself a Dodge. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they need. For 10 years, that's what's made Dodge the fastest growing truck company in America.
The New York Jets with excellent field position taking over at the Houston 38-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 38. No score. Houston with 3 field goal opportunities. Missing all 3 was Skip Butler as Charlie White went the right side across the 35. Linebackers Bingham and Washington making the stop on White. 3-yard advance. 2nd and 7 now. Houston with some changes on that front line. Al Burton, number 68, replacing James Young on the left side. And Ken Kennard has come on at middle guard for Curly Culp. Culp came into today's play with a sprained back, but said he's all right. Pitch out Hopper. And Hopper throws the option pass for Knight, and it is incomplete. Willie Alexander, the right quarterback, covering on the play. Well, Walt Michaels pulling one out of the surprise bag.
All right, first of all, Henning lied to me. They said they didn't have any gadget plays. You see Harper pitch back, but the old jump pass. He had to because he couldn't see over the oncoming lineman, but it was a good play. Knight almost catches this ball. but Alexander really strips him of the ball. Good play by the defense. Good heads-up play.
Paul, what were you saying about no tricks upcoming for the Jets?
They're
afraid to tell you.
That's right. They said they don't want to try any trick stuff because of all the young guys.
It is a 3rd and 7 now for the Jets. Now Walker left and Knight right. Markham went short of a first down. Mike Reinfeld, the strong safety, driving Barkham out of bounds. It is a 4th and about 4. And a punting situation. Dwayne Carroll back at midfield. Billy Johnson racing out of the field. Houston not certain that the Jets would be punting. Now Carroll looks to angle it. Ends up in the end zone. There is a flag thrown at the far side. Penalty marker down. And let's see what the referee, Jerry Markbright, will indicate. Here it is.
It's a clipping penalty on number 15, Al Johnson. And it's the second time they called that play on him.
There's Al Johnson.
Number 22, first down.
All right, 1st and 10 now for the Oilers at the 10.
Well, I thought it was Johnson. He threw the flag at number 15, but apparently it was Zeke Moore, number 22.
Ball carrier is Tim Wilson. Richard Neal, the right defensive end, making the stop. Jets have a front 4 of Pillars, Barzalauskas, Salam, and Neal. Buttle, Ebersol, and Martin, the linebackers. Tyler and Taylor at the corners. Suggs and Owens are the deep men. No gain on the play. It is 2nd and 10 now at the 10. 5.5 left, first half, and we have no score. Pastorini with protection. Ken Burrow up to the 40-yard line. A long gainer with Pastorini and Burrow hooking up Schaefer Suggs, the strong safety, making the stop.
What happened is Burrow hooked in behind the linebacker, Martin, number 59, and Martin fell down that dirt over there, and it just left it wide open for Pastorini to see Burrow. You know, Mark, talking about Pastorini, he is playing out his option. There's Bum Phillips. He is playing out his option, and I talked to Dan before, and I said, you know, do you want to stay here? Do you want to go? He said, well, I talked to him. I'd like to renegotiate my contract, and they don't want to talk to me or give me any guarantees.
There's Pastorini going sideline to complete for another first down. Ed Forster, a rookie out of the University of Houston, an 8th-round draft pick, picking it off. So Pastorini, after hitting Burrow for 30, comes through here on a short sideline move to pick up the first down at the Jet 48-yard line. We pause briefly right here for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
From the Astrodome, Houston, Texas. And the Oilers on the move.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
An incomplete intended for the rookie tight end, Jimmy Giles. It was covered by Greg Buttle, the linebacker on the left side.
You know, Marv, you really have to say that Pastorini has been fair in his drive. He hit Burrow with a pass. He came back and hit Foster with a pass, and then he went across and hit the Giles, tried to hit him with a pass.
It is a 2nd and 10 now. Pastorini is 6'4", 11 for 58 yards. Don Hardiman is back. He is combining in the backfield now with the rookie, Rob Carpenter. Burrow to the left, Foster right.
There's a play you really don't see enough of, I don't think, in a football game.
Red Sox leading the Baltimore Orioles 6-4 in the 7th. The sweep.
The play I was talking about is a tight end screen in the middle, which is a good play.
And here's Pastorini going the left side, and he's got the running back Carpenter for the first down. Bob Martin, outside linebacker, making the stop. Dan Pastorini now with the hot hand.
You know, and it's a little different look that he threw out at him. He put the back out right next to Burrow. The two of them are out. Burrow goes to the inside, which is obviously going to take the corner with him real quick. And Carpenter just slid right behind him. It's just like a checkout pass if he were in the backfield. But he was out, split way out, and he was wide open. Nobody got to him. It's almost like a pickoff play for the wide receiver.
Paul, also that's the first third down conversion that has been successful in this first half for Houston. It's a slot left formation now. Wilson, the lone deep back. Foster. Ed Foster breaks down to the 25. Foster breaking tackles down to the 20. And a first down. Maurice Tyler makes the stop. Number 89, Ed Foster.
And here's the play here. Ever since the first play of this drive, Pastorini's thrown the ball. It's a play-action screen to the wide receiver on the outside. Foster goes on one knee, but he's going to break a tackle over here of Maurice Tyler, number 39, right here, and pick up the first down. Just good effort.
It's a 12-yard pickup. They spotted at the 22. First down at the 22. Now the 2-minute warning is given. When we resume, the Oilers will take over with the break in action. The score, Jets nothing, Houston nothing.
Here's what you get with the Lee Maxi 2 that you don't get with leading paper single-stage filters. A second stage triggered by a separate valve. So when you start cold or step on the gas, the Lee Maxi 2 keeps on filtering. It traps more dirt than paper single-stage filters. And right now, the filter that gives you more protection gives you a free belt buckle to boot. Lee Maxi 2 packs more protection.
Here's a few tips on how to get out of an airport fast. 1. Join the #1 club and reserve a car with Hertz. 2. Have your license and credit card ready, because Hertz will be ready for you. Just sign and go. 3. Need directions? Ask Hertz. They know the shortest route. Nobody can get you out of an airport faster. Nobody can get you out of an airport faster.
Go, Juice! Go!
Rent a Ford from Hertz. A superstar in rent-a-car. Right.
Exciting live prime-time coverage of Major League Baseball playoff action begins Tuesday, October 4th on NBC.
Back at the Houston Astrodome, the Oilers led by the passing of Dan Pastorini on the move. 1st and 10 for Houston at the Jet 22. We have no score. Ed Foster now to the left side. It's a slot right, the halfback, Anderson in the slot. And Burrow to the right. Jimmy Giles in the left-hand corner. Jimmy Giles, the rookie out of Alcorn State, but hold it. A penalty marker is down.
Well, this is all for naught. Here's Giles. He's breaking to the outside. He's got the touchdown, but there's a holding penalty back upfield on the Houston Oilers. This is something with Giles and with Barber that Pastorini really hasn't had this in the last 4 or 5 years, Marv, as a tight end that could block and catch the football and run with it.
Holding, number 64, offense, first down.
A hold on the rookie left guard, George Reiner, number 64, the rookie out of Penn State. And so they bring it back to the 32-yard line as you look at Buck Phillips on the Houston sideline. Now Mike Barber has come on at tight end, replacing Jimmy Giles. Minute 54 remaining first half. No score. Pastorini with the big run. Gets it away to Wilson. And Wilson is run out of bounds by Ed Taylor. So the rookie running back, Tim Wilson, number 45, could not find the running room. A penalty marker is down. Roughing the passer, the call on the Jets. Richard Neal. Bit over aggressive and getting to Dan Pastorini. What is Walt Michaels saying, Paul?
Only if you can read lips.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 77 defense. First down.
Well, they say it's Barzalauskas. All right, we'll get another look right here.
This is a great effort by Pastorini. The rush was on right here. You see Neal, you see everybody in there. Now Pastorini passes the ball, and we don't see Pastorini, but what happened was Barzalauskas came down on him while he was on the ground.
And the Oilers now first and 10 at the 18, and Billy White Shoes Johnson has come on as the third wide receiver. So they've got a lot of speed out there. Johnson, Foster, and Burrow. The lone deep back is Tim Wilson.
It took a little time here, Marv, because when they lined up the chains down here, they only gave 9 yards to make instead of 10, so they had to stretch it out again.
Johnson will line up in the slot to the right. Bum Phillips' feeling this year was not to use Johnson as frequently as he did last year as a wide receiver because they want him available and healthy for those punt and kickoff returns.
Well, he's so small and so fragile, you know, you really can't use him an awful lot.
He's out there right now, number 84, in the slot to the right as you look at Pastorini. Jets and Houston scoreless. Pastorini setting up. And it is underthrown. Burrow, the intended receiver. Meanwhile, Paul, Johnson wide open down at the goal line.
Billy Johnson was down in the end zone for a touchdown and not a soul covered him. They run this play again. Burrow goes to the inside. You'll see it. You see Billy Johnson just move out like a halfback down the sideline. No Jets. Touchdown. He's got his hands up. All he needs now is the football.
Second and 10 at the 18.
Think they're going to run it again? Same formation.
There's Johnson in the slot to the right. Well, this time the handoff to Wilson. Breaking tackles down to the 10. Tim Wilson. Big rookie, 6'3", 220-pounder out of Maryland, a third-round draft pick. Owens and Suggs combining to stop. It's an 8-yard pickup for Wilson. Third and 2 now for Houston. Down at the Jet 10-yard line.
You know, when they go to that formation with Johnson and Burrow outside, they've got the linebacker, Buttle, playing Johnson. And I can't believe it. They've got to adjust the formation.
And now they have Johnson slot left with Burrow also to the left side. Here's Pastorini going to Burrow. Burrow knocked out of bounds, but it is a first down. It'll be first and goal. Ed Taylor coming up to make the tackle on Burrow. But Pastorini now has a first and goal at the 6.
You know, Marv, that's an awful dangerous pass to throw because if they play that thing right, and if the corner just so happened to gamble, he's gone because there's nobody out there to stop him. Burrow's going one way, the corner goes the other way, and Pastorini sure can't get across the field to stop him.
56 seconds remaining first half. Houston lining up, slot right, Johnson now to the right. And this is Wilson. Wilson stacked up inside the 5. Timeout called for by Houston. They stopped the clock with 52 seconds remaining in the first half. Bob Martin making the stop on Wilson.
Well, there's old bum. Pastorini's coming to talk to him. You know, we talked about Wilson, and this is the young man that did lead the Houston Oilers in receiving and in rushing in the preseason, and I'm glad to see him leave him in there and let him try to score.
All right, coming up at halftime, a complete rundown on the NFL 77. Halftime players will be also on hand. We mentioned earlier they have a resemblance to NBC Saturday Night Not Ready for Prime players. They'll be along with a look at football as it's never been seen before, and with an updated report on the latest scores in the National Football League and a host of surprises on this opening day, 1977. We have 52 seconds remaining in the first half. It is a second and goal from the 3 for the Houston Oilers. Oilers had a touchdown called back because of a penalty. They had 3 field goal opportunities. Skip Butler missing all 3. Wilson and Carpenter now, the running back. Pasquarini to throw. Giles not able to hold on. It was off to his right side. The tight end Giles not able to hold.
And on this particular formation, they're using 3 tight ends. They're using Kevin Hunt, number 72, as a tight end on the other side. They're using Barber and Giles. Giles came from one side of the field to the other on a delay, and he was wide open. He just dropped the ball a little bit too far to him.
It is 3rd and goal from the 3. 47 seconds left first half with no score. Pasquarini, and it is broken up. Mike Barber hit in the end zone by Maurice Tyler. And interference is called against the Jets.
Interference. Defense. First down.
All right, we're going to see this play now. Now, you see Tyler, number 39. Buttle really has Pasquarini bottled up right here in the back. And Dan has got such a strong arm. When the ball is thrown to the end zone, you've got to keep an eye on the right hand of Tyler because it's on his back right there. Even though he knocks the ball away, he's got his hand on his back, and that's passing interference.
Automatic first down, and even half the distance from the 1.5 down. This is Hardeman. He's in for the score. Off the interference call from first and goal from about 1.5 out, Don Hardeman, the 3-year pro out of Texas A&I, takes it in.
Well, Hardeman goes right off his tackle. Heyman, number 70, and Maurice Tyler. You can see Hardeman's not across the goal line, not very much of him anyway, but the ball got over, and that's a touchdown.
With 39 seconds left in the first half, the Oilers move out in front by the score of 6-0. Skip Butler hearing it from the crowd after missing 3 field goal attempts. Now trying for the extra point. Hadel will hold. And a sarcastic roar from the crowd greeting the success on the placement by Skip Butler. So the Houston Oilers lead the New York Jets by the score of 7-0. Well, some boxing observers feel that Muhammad Ali hasn't been preparing seriously enough for his September 29th title defense against Ernie Shavers, that he might just be right for the picking. Well, one person who hopes that that is correct is the guy Ali calls the Acorn, Ernie Shavers. You'll see Ali and Shavers here on NBC. Coverage beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time from New York's Madison Square Garden on September the 29th. I had the opportunity, Paul, to be in your hometown, Youngstown, Ohio, for NBC's Night of the Heavyweights last Wednesday, spending some time with the Acorn, Mr. Shavers, and I call him Mr.
Do you like my town?
Youngstown is interesting, Paul. That's all right, Houston went 90 yards, 14 plays in 5 minutes and 26 seconds. We'll have to discuss Youngstown, Ohio
at length sometime.
Yes. All right, the kickoff by Butler. The squib. And this is Tommy Marvaso to the 35-yard line and driven back the other way. Al Johnson, the first to get at Marvaso. Only 33 seconds remaining in the first half. Houston up by the score of 7-0. The Jets first down at their 34-yard line.
The only one that's really been effective for the Jets so far today is Harper, and I'd just kind of leave him in the ball game somewhere, either as a receiver or a running back.
Their concern similar to that of Houston, and that Harper is so small, they don't feel he is durable enough to play on a regular basis, similar to the Billy Johnson situation. That's Clark Gaines across the 40. Ken Kennard, middle guard, making the stop. Kennard, number 71, replacing Curly Colt in the middle. Just 20 seconds remaining in the first half. 5-yard pickup for Gaines, 2nd and 5 at the 40. And let's see if the Jets can get off another play. Time running down, only 10 seconds. Now 5 seconds. Time runs down. That's the end of the first half here at the Astrodome in Houston with the score. Oilers 7, Jets nothing.
The Houston Oilers are a big play team, both on defense and offense. Hi, I'm Curly Colt. I'd like to show you a big play town, one of the fastest growing cities in America. The word for Houston is energy. It's a town that grew up with oil, but it's the energy of people that really built Houston. They built a 50-mile canal to the sea. They helped send Americans to the moon. They save lives every day at the Texas Medical Center. They changed the face of American sports with the Astrodome. The spirit of the Wildcatter still lives in Houston. People from all over the United States come here because Houston gives everybody a chance to make it. And so does our United Way. It is people helping others help themselves. Fans and neighbors helping retarded and handicapped children. Working with the visiting nurses, Big Brothers, and many other agencies funded by United Way. Our volunteers take pride in Houston, the Oilers, and our United Way. They are beautiful people, and for all of them we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, United Way.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. We'll join NFL 77 after these messages from your local station.
From a fascinating
30 seconds for the last 4 is what I'd like.
and what they did during America's biggest war. On the home front, on the front lines, and in those unforgettable war movies, it's great all-star entertainment. Johnny Carson hosts Hollywood and the Home Front tonight at 9, 8 Central, right after Disney.
To get ahead these days, you got to keep on your toes. So I've got something to keep my competition flat-footed. Sunoco's penny pinching pump. It has 190. The gas is made to sell below my regular, and 220, the gas that sells below my premium. So if your car runs on regular or premium, my pump can save you money on quality gas. Listen, if I don't want you to go right by me, I got to do right by you. Sunoco's penny pinching pump can fill up your tank for less. That's my way of being very friendly.
When this campaign started, Ed Koch said he would speak out strongly on the issues, and that's what he's done. Mario Cuomo said people should judge character more than issues. Now the campaign is almost over, and Ed Koch is gaining support from all the different groups in our city. Mario Cuomo seems desperate, and he's turned his campaign into a series of personal attacks on Ed Koch. What happened to character, Mr. Cuomo? We thought your campaign would be better than that.
Join Richard Reeves Monday on News Center 4 at 5.
And Gumble, a rundown now of the scores and highlights of today's action. A big upset. Atlanta beat the Los Angeles Rams. Sweet win for head coach Lehman Bennett of Atlanta. He beat his ex-boss. 13-3, Cincinnati lost to the Cleveland Browns. That's got to be an upset, too. Brian Sipe, a big day, 15 for 22 for almost 200 yards.
Yeah, a very big day, Lee, and he had a big day early, which I think helped Cleveland out quite a bit. We're going to see some action here from the first quarter. Sipe going back to pass here, and he gets a super catch out of number 34, Greg Pruitt. 5'9" out of Oklahoma. Look at him go up right there between two defenders. This set up a score for Cleveland, their second field goal of the day. That made it 6-zip. Pruitt's running mate got into the act before the half was out. This is Larry Poole, and a sweep around right end. Got it into the end zone, 13 yards. Made it 13-love at the half in favor of Cleveland, and they were well on their way. In the second half, Cincinnati's defense tried to get them back into the ball game. We're going to get an example of it right here. Kurt Gowdy with the call.
Sipe out of the pocket, tip, interception. At the yard line, Reggie Williams has it. There's the first turnover by the Browns in the game. And Cincinnati has the ball in the Browns' territory.
Well, the Bengal defense blanked Cleveland the rest of the way, but the offense committed just too many turnovers, Lee, and they lost at 13-3.
Philadelphia Eagles picked up Ron Jaworski from L.A., and it looks like a good pickup. Jaworski was 14 for 24, 147 yards. The Eagles beat Tampa Bay 13-3. A real thriller, the Giants, in the last 3 seconds on a field goal by Joe DeMello, beat the Washington Redskins by a score of 2017. First time ever as a head coach, George Allen lost an opening game.
Well, you know, Lee, there's a lot of scoring potential on the field, a lot of big names, but you wouldn't count George Martin as one of those names. Nonetheless, he came through with the first score in this ball game. He interrupted Billy Kilmer's plans right here early on. Picks it off at the 30, runs it in all the way, and if you don't think that's a thrill for Big George, 7-0, it put the Giants out in front. And they stayed out in front. They were ahead 10-7 when Washington in the fourth period had a first and goal situation with a 3. Kilmer flipped it to Reagan, 14-10. Washington looked like they'd win it. But they got a field goal later, and it was 17-10 with less than 3 minutes to play. And Henry Marshall caught this deflection, and it set up a short touchdown for the Giants. Right here, Troy Archer stripped the ball from Mike Thomas, recovered. That set the Giants up in business with about a minute left in the game, and set up a 30-yard field goal by Joe Danello. Danello got his chance for the upset, came in. You see the clock, just 6 seconds, good through the upright. The people in New Jersey absolutely loved it. There's no love lost between the Giants and Redskins. Certainly George Allen has some bitter feelings about the Giants right now.
Giants have spent a couple of years losing games late. They finally won one late. New England Patriots beat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-17. That was to be expected, but the way Kansas City started wasn't. They were ahead 14-0 before New England got in gear, and then Steve Grogan engineered the win.
Well, he did engineer that win. You know, last year it was Grogan's running and his gutty calls that got him going. Evidently this year he still intends to run. We're going to take a look at some of that right here. Grogan starts the drive that set up the winning touchdown, and got the winning touchdown by going 12 yards on a bootleg play. Puts it on his hip. Sam Adams goes wide. Steve Grogan goes inside, picks up 12. He kept the drive going. They went down, scored, and they overcame that Kansas City lead. That showed a couple of people what they're made of today.
The Buffalo Bills couldn't get on the board at all as Miami Dolphins beat them 13-0, and the question there is, how did O.J. do?
Well, O.J. didn't do too swell, actually. A combination of rain and the Miami defense hampered him a little bit. He had 21 carries, 71 yards. We're going to take a look at how the Dolphins stormed all over him today. This was typical. He had a little problem with his ankle, but it just was not O.J.'s day, or for that matter, was it the Bills' day. Miami got a field goal, and it was 3-0 at the half. They added one to make it 6-0 early in the third quarter, and then kicked off. Buffalo's Charles Rome had trouble picking up the ball. When he finally did, he had trouble hanging on to it. Don Nottingham knocked it loose, and Norris Thomas jumped on it for the recovery. That set the Dolphins up in business at the 20-yard line, and at this point, leading just 6-0, they made the most of their scoring opportunity. Jay Randolph with the call.
Now a chance to really do some business for the Dolphins. First down at the 20. Going through is Boulard. Touchdown, Miami! The sign of a good football club. Take advantage of your break.
Miami hung on to that and won it 13-0.
Walter Payton, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chicago 30, the Detroit Lions 20. A 24-20 victory for the Green Bay Packers over the New Orleans Saints in a game that's at the half now. Baltimore, as expected, leading Seattle 14-7.
Okay, and at the half, the Houston Oilers out in front of the Jets 7-0. Raiders leading the Chargers 17-0. This one late in the second period. Cardinals and Broncos at Mile High Stadium. There is no score in that ball game. And a big one between two NFC contenders. The Vikings are out in front of the Dallas Cowboys. That score is 7-3. Fran Tarkenton and Chuck Foreman, a 19-yard pass to get the Vikings on the board. Before the half ended, Fran Herrera had a 40-yard field goal for the Cowboys.
Now, NFL 77 has just received word that the brand-new expansion Toledo Torpedoes have defeated the New Jersey Condors 52-49. And in that game, Toledo's first-round draft pick, Billy Joe Allen, had quite a day for himself, and he set some NFL records. NFL 77's Barney Johnson of the Halftime Comedy Players is at Erie Stadium in Toledo, so let's go there for the story.
Thank you, Lee. This is Barney Johnson at Riverfront Stadium in Toledo, and I'm talking here with Billy Joe Allen, who was the whole story here today. Billy Joe, why don't you step over here? Well, Billy Joe, 296 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 60-yard field goal. It was the most outstanding individual performance I've ever seen in a football game. How do you feel?
Well, I'm just fortunate enough to play on a team like the Torpedoes, Barn. I couldn't have done it without their help, but they gave me a lot of support by coming out on the field with me today.
Well, that's a wonderful attitude, Billy Joe, but you certainly were outstanding, and we're going to look now at a couple highlights. Maybe you can help us comment as we go along. This first play is the opening kickoff, and I believe you received the ball. What's happening here?
I don't know what's happening with you. In the play.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm taking the ball up the side, and I'm behind my wedge. And
Break through that first line.
I couldn't have done it without their help, but they gave me a lot of support by coming out on the field with me today.
Well, that's a wonderful attitude, Billy Joe, but you certainly were outstanding. And we're going to look now at a couple highlights. Maybe you can help us comment as we go along. This first play is the opening kickoff, and I believe you received the ball. What's happening here?
I don't know what's happening with you. In the play.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm taking the ball up the side, and I'm behind my wedge. And
break through that first line.
That's right. And I get a little room here, you see. And
beautiful move.
I cut the outside, and I'm just fortunate enough to have 9.4 speed, and I'm able to outrun a lot of these guys. And then we come down here.
Nice reverse field.
Yeah, I cut back here, and this guy should have had me too. I'm lucky enough to get away from him and outrun everybody and get a lot of downfield blocking.
Very exciting first play of the game.
I made in the end zone just for.
Right, here you are as the offensive end making a beautiful reception. I might add that as a expansion club, the Torpedoes have to change their jerseys on every play. Is that right?
That's right. Here I was 88, and then I come out as 85 and fool them, and then back to 88 again real quick.
Beautiful.
Call that in the huddle, and then I'm 82. And then 83 here.
You made your quarterback Craig Hunt look really good. Of course, he has a terrible arm, but you were there for just about every pass he threw today.
Well, I think Craig's going to be one of the great ones. I'm just fortunate enough to be on the same team as he is.
Well, that's a wonderful attitude, Billy Joe. I don't know if fortunate is the word to describe your playing today. I can think of one play where there's absolutely no luck involved. In fact, they were holding you, but you caught the ball in your teeth.
Well, I was just fortunate enough to get my face on it, and I caught it with my teeth. I got a little gap in here in front, and I caught it and lateral it with my tongue over my teammate Clyde Williams, and he was playing good heads-up ball, and he took it on the end zone for us for a score.
Well, it was just wonderful. I might add that Billy Joe played both offense and defense. He was in every single play of the game, and here he is blocking a punt.
That's right.
And you ran in for the TD.
That's right. I took it in the gut, and I thought, ooh, gosh, I hurt the gut. But then I figured, well, heck, it doesn't hurt anything. I'll pick it up and run with it, and I was just fortunate enough to run in the end zone before I fell down.
For another touchdown, and then, of course, you moved to a linebacking position. Here you are picking off a pass for interception.
Well, this is right after we had that flash blizzard in the third quarter, and I was fortunate enough to fool somebody there. They threw the ball to me, and I was a little frightened. I'd never seen snow before, but I was fortunate enough to go out there and just give it everything. I didn't lose my footing or anything. I made it down.
Beautiful. What were you thinking right about now?
Right now I'm thinking about how fortunate I am, really, because I had great coaching. I had Bull O'Neill, Bama A&M, and Chubb Wells back at Vocational High School, and fortunate enough to have good parents give me good high-protein food, good meals, and so forth, and fortunate to be a boy in the first place, because born as a girl, I probably would never play football and probably never at the professional level.
I think you've made it very clear that you feel very fortunate, but you're an amazing player both on the field and off the field. I understand that you have been working with a charity organization.
Yes, I'm proud to work with the Society of Judeo-Christian Athletes, and we work with the underprivileged, with those who are less fortunate than myself.
Well, that should be just about everybody. Thank you very much, Billy Joe Allen. Best of luck to you.
Thanks. I'm going to need it.
Back to you, Lee.
Okay, thank you. We, of course, here at NFL 77 feel very fortunate to have the halftime comedy players with us. And if we're lucky, we'll have them with us during our halftimes to regale you and entertain you for the rest of this football season. I personally feel fortunate and privileged and lucky to have been part of this segment.
He's a field goal kicking mule, and his name is Gus.
Mr. Cooper's orders. Someone throws me the ball, and I hold it, then Gus kicks it.
Edward Asner, Don Knotts, Tom Bosley, and Tim Conway star in the big Disney movie hit, Gus. Tonight at 7, 6 Central Time, followed by Life Goes to War, Hollywood and the Home Front on NBC.
If you're a small businessman, European American Bank announces a way for you to have money instantly. For inventory, expansion, or whatever you need, whenever you need it. Introducing a new service, the EAB Small Business Credit Account. Qualify, and you get a credit line of up to $25,000. To use it, you just write a check. It's really that simple. European American Bank's new Small Business Credit Account. It puts money in your hands when you need it.
Ed Koch says that he'll be tough on the unions. Where have you heard that one before? Ed Koch says he's against the power brokers. Ed Koch says that although he's from Manhattan, he'll take care of the outer boroughs. Remember who promised you all this before? Here's a hint. He's from the same district in Manhattan and went to Congress just before Koch. Right, John Lindsay. That's why this message was brought to you by the Mario Cuomo for Mayor Committee.
Jack Cafferty anchors News Center 4 tonight at 11.
This 1977 National Football League game is brought to you by your Dodge dealers. Dodge, for the past 10 years, the fastest growing truck company in America. And by Natural Light, the new light beer from the brewers of Bud, Busch, and Michelob. National Football League action will continue with the second half kickoff at Houston with the score, Houston 7, Jets nothing.
When do you think Budweiser?
After a good bout on the lake with the water ski.
In about 2 minutes. And that's about, what, 120 seconds?
When do you say Budweiser?
When I'm fishing and when I finish fishing.
Right after I finish painting this van.
Whatever I can. On a hot day like today.
Before I go to bed.
When you say Budweiser.
Budweiser.
You said it all.
We put Mobil 1 into this car and drove it 15,000 miles without an oil change. We then tested the oil and found that used Mobil 1 still protected the engine as well as new ordinary motor oil. Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas, saves you oil changes.
The Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Part of an NFL doubleheader in most areas. Next Sunday on NBC.
Well, Paul, with the Houston Oilers theme song in the background, fans are really getting a kick out of it. The Oilers leading the Jets here at halftime by the score of 7-0. And the story of the first half, defense. Both Houston and the Jets had very fine defensive efforts. Offense, not much to talk about.
Really not too much. The last drive that Pastorini had brought his team down, but it was all passing and no running. And the Jets are sticking with the running game and no passing. And to beat this team today, you're going to have to pass the ball sometime, and Todd's has to start throwing the short outs that they're giving him. I was very disappointed in the Jets at the end of the first half. First being they had 33 seconds to go. They were on the 35-yard line, Marv. They had free timeouts, and they elected to run the clock out. At least try to get in position for a field goal. Try something, anything.
And the guy who has been hearing it from the crowd right throughout is field goal man Skip Butler, who missed 3 field goal possibilities.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. I hope he doesn't have to kick another one.
All right, 7-0 at halftime. The Oilers leading the New York Jets. A look at the halftime statistics. Oilers with 11 first downs to the Jets, 175 total yards. The advantage for Houston over 75 for the Jets. Pastorini 10 for 18. The Jets in all 3 for 9. You may recall Bruce Harper, the rookie out of Kutztown State, threw one of those incomplete passes. Trick play that almost worked off the halfback option. So Richard Todd is 3 for 8. And the Jets with 1 turnover. The Oilers have not turned it over. Don Hardiman going in from 1.5 yards out with 39 seconds remaining in the first half. A drive that consumed 5.5 minutes off the good passing by Dante Pastorini. Houston had a touchdown called back. Jets will kick off to the Oilers. And back deep, Billy White Shoes Johnson, number 84, number 89, the rookie Ed Foster. Matt Leahy will kick off. All right, we're underway now. Second half. The boot by Leahy. This is Johnson. Billy Johnson to the 15, 20, 25 as he hurdles a tackler, and down he goes across the 25-yard line. And it's the little guy, Bruce Harper, in on the tackle. That's an interesting matchup. Harper going at 5'8", 174. Johnson towering over him at 5'9". Houston on the offense, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. The quarterback, number 7, Dan Pastorini, 7-year pro out of Santa Clara, 28 years old. Ronnie Coleman, Don Hardiman are the running backs. And this is Coleman on the sweep. Led by Rungo. Coleman gets out to the 29-yard line. Ronnie Coleman, a guy who does not exactly have superstar talent, but produces, although not a speedster, has excellent balance, bounces off tackles well. 4-year pro out of Alabama A&M. Buttle and Ebersol making the stop. 4-yard pickup for Coleman. 2nd and 6 at the 29. Here's Pastorini on the screen, but overthrown, intended for Coleman. Good rush by number 73, Joe Klecko. Good-looking rookie out of Temple. As you look at running back Ronnie Coleman, number 47. It is a 3rd and 6 now at the 29-yard line. Houston with Burrow and Foster, the wide receivers. Burrow to the left, Foster to the right. The quarterback, Pastorini. The running backs are Coleman and Hardiman. Pastorini over the middle, hitting Hardiman. Ball was jarred loose, but it took place after the whistle. Pillars, Buttle making the stop. Again, a good rush by rookie Joe Klecko.
Look at number 73. This is the 2nd time in a row he's on Pastorini, and there could have been a holding call right there on the offensive lineman, but Pastorini didn't have anything to do but just dump the ball to Coleman, and 4th down.
And Cliff Parsley back into a punt with Bruce Hopper back in single safety. 1.5 minutes in, 3rd quarter. The Oilers leading 7-0.
Oh.
Parsley with a boomer. Here's Hopper, 30. And down he goes. Hopper almost able to spin away for running room. And there's a penalty marker downfield. Bill Courier, backup defensive back, makes the stop. Penalty upcoming against the Oilers. Someone left too soon.
We see that so many times. Only the 2 outside men are allowed to leave before the ball is punted.
Spectacular punt, though, by Cliff Parsley.
You know, that was a good play. We're going to hear it here.
Little man downfield on a kick. Number 26, offense, 4th down.
But number 20, Bill Courier, ran down. The one thing he just didn't do when he got down there was to break down and make sure of the tackle. But he did come back and make the play about 15 yards upfield, so he was still hustling.
Parsley will kick once again. He's back at his 10. Jets with a 10-man rush. Again, the good hang time. It's a shorter kick, and Hopper calls fair catch. Bruce Hopper with the fair catch at his 36. This time a 39-yard punt, but it prevented a run back. Jets take over, 1st down at the 36-yard line. And the Jets with Richard Todd at quarterback. Clark Gaines and the rookie Charlie White at running back. They have been in there most of the way. Curly Cope, we see, back in at middle guard for Houston. White. Going to the right side, up near the 40. Steve Kiner, inside linebacker, able to trip him up. 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7 at the 39-yard line. The Jets with Gary Petz and Marvin Powell at the tackles, Randy Rasmussen, Darrell Austin at the guards, and Joe Fields at center. The tight end is Jerome Barkham. Wide receivers, Wesley Walker off to the left side, David Knight to the right. 2nd and 7. Now Hopper in at running back along with Gaines. Diving catch is made at the 43-yard line. Diving catch by David Knight.
Well, that was a good play, and that was one of the few times that Todd really had enough protection to set up and find his receivers.
Once again, we apologize for the quality of the picture that is being transmitted or being seen back in New York, and we hope to have it corrected within very, very short time. First down for the Jets at the Houston 43-yard line. Jets out of the I now. And the pitch back to Hopper. Hopper wrestled down back of the line of scrimmage. Steve Kiner and Robert Brazil in on the stop.
Robert Brazil is, to me, one of the finest linebackers, outside linebackers that I've ever seen. He just took Barkham and held him up, took him down the line of scrimmage, and just waited for the pursuit to come in to make the play, and he himself helped out. Just an excellent play by that linebacker.
Second about 10. There's Walker out to the right side, and Knight to the left. Again, I formation. White is back with Gaines. And it's White, the second back, coming through, going nowhere. Curly Colt, number 78, with the Rats on Charlie White. Colt, the 10-year pro out of Arizona State. Loss of 3 on the play. Oakland Raiders leading the San Diego Chargers 17-0 in the second. Ken Stabler to Cliff Branch for 7. Arrowman field goal. Stabler again to Casper. Baltimore over Seattle 16-7. They are in the third. So Stabler has thrown a couple. Third and 13 now for the Jets. And here's Todd setting it. Throws the middle. And it is completed. Oh, tough reception. With Greg Stemrick all over Jerome Barkham. Barkham was able to hold on, but a penalty marker is down. A holding call against the Jets.
And again, for both teams, these penalties are killing both of them.
Offense. Third down.
Gary Petz called for the hold. It is third and very long for the Jets.
Petz has had his hands full with Buffet all day.
Houston with a front three of James Young, Curly Colt, and Elvin Buffet. Third and 23. And Todd fires for Knight, but it is broken up. Pass intended for David Knight. Well covered by the strong safety Mike Reinfeld. There is Reinfeld, number 37. And the Jets are forced to punt.
And you know, when you're running a lot of double coverage like that, Jerome Barkham was one-on-one with the safety, and Todd just didn't have enough time to find him.
Wayne Carroll back at his 30. And Billy White Shoes Johnson waiting down at his 11. Houston leading 7-0. Third quarter, 10:15 remaining. Short kick by Carroll. Johnson fields. He's up at the 20, has no running room at all. At the sideline, that was it. All right, there's a timeout on the field with the score. The Houston Oilers 7, New York Jets 0.
Unbelievable.
I believe it.
It's believable to me.
I believe it.
Do you have a Dodge Aspen like this one?
Yes, we do.
Why are you an Aspen believer?
Well, it's exactly the car that we wanted.
Why?
Well, my husband wanted a car that felt like a big car.
Why didn't he get you a Dodge truck?
I wanted one that drove like a small car.
And you got both of those things from your Dodge Aspen?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Dodge Aspen. See it, price it, drive it, and believe.
How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief. R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn? R-O-L-A-I-D-S. Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas? I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief.
He's a field goal kicking mule, and his name is Gus. Edward Asner, Don Knotts, Tom Bosley, and Tim Conway star in the Disney movie hit Gus. Tonight at 7, 6 Central Time on NBC.
This is Marv Albert with Paul McGuire from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Oilers back to the offense. They lead the Jets 7-0. We have 10 minutes remaining, third quarter. Coleman and Hardiman are the running backs. This is Coleman. And he is bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Joe Klecko, the good-looking rookie out of Temple, combining with defensive right end Richard Neal to make the stop. Pickup of 1, 2nd and 9 for Houston now at their 23.
Since Klecko's been in the game, he's been in on every play.
Klecko led the Jets in sacks during the preseason with 5. Pastorini swinging it, but incomplete. Hardiman, the intended receiver, Greg Buttle, was right on Hardiman. And Hardiman caught that pass. Buttle was right there.
This is an excellent play by the outside linebacker. Number 51, Greg Buttle right here. Watch him. His man is Hardiman. He sees the screen developing, and he gets behind the offensive line. So even if Hardiman would have caught the ball, he was right there to make the play.
All right, Paul, it's a 3rd and 9 now for Houston. They're at their 23, working out of the I. Pastorini ducking out of trouble. Penalty marker is down as Pastorini reaches out to the 29-yard line, short of the first down. Ebersol in on the tackle. There's John Ebersol, number 55. But as I said, flag down back in the Houston backfield. And it's a hold on Houston.
It might.
Holding, 64, offense, decline, 4th down.
And it's, again, the rookie George Reiner called for the hold. Number 64, Reiner, the left guard.
Well, Klecko is so fast, Marv, when he comes off the line of scrimmage, and they just tell him to tee off and go, and Reiner isn't setting up quick enough for him.
Penalty, of course, is decline, and that will make for a punting situation. Cliff Parsley back at his 14, averaging about 38. And Bruce Hopper is back at his 30. That was nearly blocked. They let it bound off to the far side, and it stops the roll at the 30-yard line. Bob Reba, the man that nearly blocked that punt. Time out of the field. Houston leading it 7-0.
This is brand new STP motor oil. You might say it's like the U.S. cavalry because it fights engine enemies. Sludge, wear, heat, and cold. STP motor oil fights not just one battle, but battle after battle for 15,000 miles between oil changes. 15,000 miles of protection. That's extra protection. New STP motor oil. It keeps on fighting for 15,000 miles. It's good, and it's halftime here at the stadium.
This fall, take a few minutes between halves and build up your lawn with some Scotts Turf Builder. Right now is the best time of year to get a thicker bluegrass lawn by growing more grass plants. Turf Builder will make any active lawn greener now and green up faster next spring.
We're all set for the kickoff now.
Just a few minutes this weekend. You'll see the difference now and next spring, too.
We have 9 minutes, 13 seconds remaining third quarter. Houston leading it 7-0. Jets take over, first down at their 30-yard line. Keaton and White are the running back. Todd off the break. And the hand of Elvin Buffet breaking it up, but a penalty marker is down.
Elvin Buffet almost ate the ball.
Offside this time against the Houston Oilers. Well, the Red Sox leading the Orioles 10-4 now in the ninth inning.
Defense, first down.
Baltimore looking to sweep. The Red Sox coming back strong today. Earlier, the Yankees beat Detroit 6-5 to make it a 3-game sweep. NBC will bring you coverage of the American League East pennant race right down to the wire, picking up this Saturday. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Oh, the flag is picked up by Hopper. And Hopper has picked up the first down. James Young got a piece of it. The rookie left defensive end, James Young, but Hopper was able to stay right with it.
Another trick play by the Jets. Yeah. They threw the ball out here and it tipped it off of James Young's hand, and Harper just heads up football, ends up catching the ball right here, makes a good play out of it and gets the first down.
Well, it's been a sparkling debut for Bruce Hopper.
Really has been. He's showed up very well.
12-yard advance, first down for the Jets at their 42. This is White on the slant up to the 44. Steve Kiner, inside linebacker on the left side, making the stop on number 30, Charlie White. Bruce Hopper was signed by the Jets as a free agent. And the reason he was signed, Walt Michaels' son, a linebacker at Kutztown State, advised his father, hey, we have a pretty good football player here by the name of Hopper. Hopper had an opportunity to sign with the Giants and the Eagles, chose the Jets. Rookie Shelton Diggs now in at wide receiver to the left side. Handoff go to White. See the flag thrown once again as White goes to the 49. Kiner making the stop. Strong safety Reinfeld coming up from the secondary. Holding now against the Jets.
The best middle guard during practice sessions, but Sunday afternoon he's fine.
Paul, the penalty totals, and there have been quite a few. Jets hit with 7 for 69 yards. And Houston, 8 penalties for 68 yards.
These are the mistakes you're supposed to correct in preseason. That's what those games are for.
All right, on the draw, Clark Gaines getting outside, and Gaines up near the first down marker, stopped by Zeke Moore. Well, the Jets crossed up the Oilers.
All right, now we're going to watch number 65, Alvin Bethea against Fetz. He takes a move to the outside. It's a draw play, and Bethea just doesn't get back to the inside quick enough. Good play by Petz. He kept his man to the outside, but they're going to be short about a half a yard.
16-yard run. But the Jets will be forced to punt. 7 minutes remaining. Third quarter. Houston leading it 7-0 on a 1.5-yard plunge by Hardiman and the final minute of play, first half. Billy White Shoes Johnson and single safety awaiting the punt from Dwayne Carroll. All right, Johnson back at his 5. Good coverage by the Jets. Johnson with no running room at all. Johnson takes it out of bounds. Bob Reba. And on that move on Johnson, there's a timeout on the field. Oilers lead it 7-0.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is known. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. When things are getting thick and you want to start real quick, you can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. They've got the stuff when it's starting stuff. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. Delco Freedom. Thanks, Delco.
Here's 100 years of tradition coming at you.
Here comes the king. Here comes the king. Here comes the big number 1. Here comes the king. But why the beer? The king is second to none. When you say but the king is coming, let's hear the call. When you say but, you said it all. When you say but, you said it all.
Exciting live prime-time coverage of Major League Baseball playoff action begins Tuesday, October 4th on NBC.
Next Sunday, following NFL 77 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, most of you will be getting a football doubleheader that will feature a replay of last year's AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh Steelers against the defending Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders. Check the local listings for the games in your area. First and 10 for Houston, back at their 12-yard line. Hardiman off the left side for short yardage. Hardiman and Coleman are the running backs. Joe Plecco and Richard Neal making the stop. Plecco, a name we have been calling quite frequently this afternoon. Second and 9 now. Slot formation right. All right, this is Hardiman. Up to the 19-yard line. Middle linebacker John Ebersole in on the tackle. So Don Hardiman, number 30, with a pickup of 6. And it's 3rd and 2 now, just inside the 20. Back to next Sunday's NFL schedule. The 2 o'clock games, San Diego, Kansas City. These Houston Oilers will take on the Green Bay Packers. At 4, Buffalo and Denver. Miami playing at San Francisco. And Hardiman picking up the first down and more. Don Hardiman. All down by Greg Puddle, left side linebacker, and defensive end John Hennessy is in for Lawrence Pillars.
Well, what's happened is they've got Klecko going to the inside all the time, and they're just letting Greener just take him right into the inside, and they're splitting the defensive end and the defensive tackle and running at that area.
First down at the 27. Billy Johnson is in as a wide receiver as they line up again, slot right. It's Johnson in the slot. Burrow off to the right side. Foster is left. Pastorini got Foster. Foster losing his footing at the 28-yard line. Richard Neal there to cover up. Eddie Foster played tight end in college. Last year at the University of Houston, he is from the city of Houston, Texas. And these Oilers have tremendous speed at both tight end and wide receiver.
You know, and I don't understand why Houston, and there's Bum Phillips on the phones, but why Houston, when they put the 2 wide receivers out here, Burrow and Johnson, there's only 1 corner man out here, Maurice Tyler, and a linebacker, Buttle. Why they don't split them and hit them quick?
Yeah, they go with the double wing, and Hardiman is the lone deep back. Pastorini hits Hardiman. Hardiman in trouble, and now he goes back at the 25. It's a loss on the play. Barzalauskas and Hennessy stopping Hardiman.
You know, Marv, getting back to that, you've got Maurice Tyler out here covering 2 people, Johnson and Burrow. He's going to get help from the safety in the middle of the field, but it's just a long way to come. You've got to cover almost 20 yards in order to get there.
And right now, Paul, Billy Johnson has been replaced in the lineup by the running back, Ron Coleman. 3rd and 11. Pastorini back to throw. Big rush. That deflected away. Richard Neal got a piece of it. Burrow, the intended receiver. Good defensive series for the Jets, forcing Houston to punt.
Well, here's Neal, Hennessy, and Barzalauskas. They're all back there, and I think Mr. Neal gets his hand on the ball right there on the outside. But they're just teeing off and going, and what you have to do in a situation like that is try to throw some type of a screen or a draw at them.
Well, we're delighted to hear that the pictures coming into the New York area now are in very fine shape. And we apologize for the earlier difficulty. All right, here's Parsley putting it away. Penalty marker is down as Hopper fumbles and covers up. Hopper had difficulty with that Parsley punt and had to cover up at his 41-yard line. But again, there is a penalty marker down.
And it's against New York, and it's flipping again. Or cutting below the knees.
Illegal cut. Call against the Jets. 3 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter. And Houston up by the score of 7-0.
And you know, at the beginning you mentioned there's a young football team with 16 first-year men on both squads. And it's showing up now in this game with all the penalties that we're having.
All right, the referee, number 9, Jerry Markwright, with the announcement.
Illegal cut.
Dan Pastorini bringing his ball club up. He has Burrow to the left and Foster to the right. Off the play action, he's got Burrow at midfield. Burrow is hauled down by Suggs and Owens. Ken Burrow, who has now extended his successful streak to 51 straight games and coming up with at least one reception per ball game.
This is a beautiful play by Burrow here, Marv. Watch what he does. He he just knows where Taylor is, right here. He ducks his head, sees it coming over his back, and then takes off. Good play.
And as you saw, his third reception of the day. First down for Houston at the Jets' 47-yard line. Again, the play action. And the jump for Giles, the tight end. Covered by the Jets. Greg Buttle all over the rookie, Jimmy Giles.
You know, we're seeing some outstanding linebacking, and Buttle, number 51, makes another tremendous play. Now, here's a screen to Jimmy Giles at tight end. Now, watch Drungo, number 50, or 75, excuse me, coming out to block him. Buttle throws him aside and makes the tackle.
Pastorini now, 15 for 26. 112 yards, has a 2nd and 12. Foster to the right, and Burrow wide left. Hardeman getting to the 45-yard line. Richard Neal, Lawrence Pillars making the stop. It'll be a 3rd and 9 now from the 45.
And Pastorini did exactly what I said he was going to do, is go back and run a quick draw to Hardeman that time, and they got Klecko in the backfield. Klecko just overran the play. He had the tackle in the backfield, but he wanted to get an arm on him.
Now the rookie from Maryland, Tim Wilson, in at running back. He's the lone deep back in the slot left formation. Johnson is in the slot. Pastorini looking sideline. Giles for the first down. Jimmy Giles, the rookie out of Alcorn State, immediately hit down by Maurice Tyler. Jimmy Giles enrolled at Alcorn on a baseball scholarship. In fact, played minor league baseball in the Los Angeles Dodgers game.
And you know, the funny thing about it, we go back and what we said before, Pastorini didn't have a tight end in the past to throw to, and all of a sudden it just seems like the Jets forgot about this young man, number 88, Jimmy Giles, and he's catching the football.
That time for 17 yards. First down for Houston at the Jets 28. Oilers lead it 7-0. Just 20 seconds left now in the 3rd quarter. Again out of the double wing. Now he rifles off to Foster. Foster, though, is stopped immediately by the strong safety, Schaefer Suggs. That time the swing did not click. Just a couple of seconds left in the quarter, and that will do it. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Houston Oilers 7 and the New York Jets nothing.
You're coming in loud and clear. Must be a realistic CB radio.
Dan Bohr, good buddies, my new 40-channel Realistic. Radio Shack's got it on sale right now for only $79. I save $60. Best deal I've made all year.
And Realistic sure is a good brand.
The N4 on that, you can depend on Realistic. They've been making it for 16 years.
The sale price 40-channel CB by Realistic. Only at Radio Shack. The Candy Company.
Hey, look at that. It's a chainsaw with its case. Uh-oh, somebody left it. Probably taking a coffee break. It's a McCulloch Mac 140. Wow. It's got automatic oiling. That's slick. This is the chain brake safety feature. Yeah. It stops the chain in less than 1/10 of a second. That's fair. And look at these teeth. They sharpen themselves with a press of a button. Mine don't.
The McCulloch Mac 140. You can't buy another chainsaw with all these features at any price.
That McCulloch's got just about everything. Yeah, but I bet it can't swim. Good point.
McCulloch. In the yellow pages, under saws.
Announcing a unique new motor oil from Exxon Research that can actually save money. New Golden Natural Uniflow. Uniflow was tested in cars like yours. After break-in, it delivered an overall average of 16 extra miles per tank full. Savings like that could cut your gasoline bill the equivalent of about 3 cents a gallon. New Uniflow motor oil is Exxon's best engine protection ever. It conserves gasoline, saves money.
Red Sox defeating the Baltimore Orioles 10-4 earlier today. The Yankees beat Detroit. So the Yankees now 3.5 over the second-place Orioles and 4.5 over the Red Sox. Slot right formation, 2nd and 9 for Houston at the Jet 27 as we get underway here, fourth quarter. Pastorini in trouble. Pastorini being chased by Salam. Pulled down inside the 25-yard line. Abdul Salam made the stop, but Pastorini able to pick up yardage.
Well, either Abdul Salam is extremely fast or Pastorini is extremely slow, because we wouldn't even have to go to slow motion on that play. He did a good job getting out of there, Pastorini. Picked up a few yards, third down.
Well, Dante would prefer to throw football. No question. It is a third and about 4 now at the 23-yard line. Oilers line up in the I, and Johnson is flanked out of the left side. Slot right formation. Pastorini to throw, and he completes it for the first down to Ron Coleman. So Coleman out of the backfield where he was stopped by Ebersol and Martin. But the Oilers again on the march. They have a first down at the Jets 16.
You know, this offensive formation is really causing a problem for the Jets defense. What I mean is the Oilers, they don't have a tight end in the game. They're using 3 wide receivers, Foster, Burrow, and Billy Johnson. And then they're also bringing the backs out of the backfield. So what the Jets have to do is they have to blitz in order to hold those backs in the backfield.
And again, it's Johnson in the slot to the right. Pastorini fires to the end zone and overthrows. Intended for Eddie Foster. Schaefer Suggs, number 23, covering on the play. There's Foster, 89. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 16. Pastorini, 18 for 30 for 136 yards. Coming off the disappointing season last year, lacking consistency, and there was some questions about his leadership, too. It was a complete chaotic year for Dan Pastorini.
Well, he himself was down on the offense, and that was the big problem.
Has a new wide receiver in there, and Gary Garrison, the Ghost. Quick pass to the rookie Wilson, and Wilson picks up short yardage. Ebersol there to stack him up. Gary Garrison, number 82, checking into the lineup, has a pulled hamstring. It was thought he would not play at all today. He was acquired from the San Diego Chargers on waivers back in July. And one of the outstanding receivers in the history of the National Football League.
Call him the Ghost? That's him, the Ghost, huh?
42,181. The attendance here at the Astrodome. Watching the Oilers jump in front 7-0. 3rd and 6 for Pastorini. Fires for Burrow. And interference call once again. Maurice Tyler covering on the play. Jets have been hit with 2 interference calls earlier.
And you're right, it's on Maurice Tyler.
One of the interference calls in the final minute of the first half when the Oilers were down at the Jet 3-yard line. They moved it halfway to the 1.5.
First down.
And then Hardeman took it in. So again, the automatic first down, and they place it at the 1.
Well, you know, they talked about New York having the no-mistake offense, and they should have referred a little bit to the defense going, try not to have any mistakes, because they're making an awful lot of them.
2 rookies, Wilson and Carpenter in the backfield. 1st and goal at the 1. This is Carpenter. And let's see. Pastorini gave it the TD sign. And he is just short. Pastorini had the hands up.
Well, now I know what he's going to do when he leaves here. He's going to become an official.
It'll be 2nd and goal, just inches away. 12 minutes, 10 seconds. Remaining 4th quarter. Houston leading at 7-0. Wilson and Carpenter in the backfield. Quarterback sneak, and he's in for the score. Fantastic, and he's taking it in. And the Oilers lead the Jets 13-0.
That's usually the safest play in football down on that when you're that close, Marv. Good call.
And the message board here at the Astrodome expressing its sentiments. Skip Butler will try for the extra point. John Hader will hold. And the kick is good. Oh, there's a time on the field. The score, Houston 14, New York Jets nothing.
Port of call, Caribbean. The Navy. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Dan and Barb wanted style. They got themselves a Dodge. Fred needed a pickup at a price he could afford and got himself a Dodge. Doug needed lots of space. He got himself a Dodge. Well, Jane wanted freedom, so she got herself a Dodge. Sam needed a roomy cab. He got himself a Dodge. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they need. For the last 10 years, that's what's made Dodge the fastest growing truck company in America.
Baseball's pressure-packed league championships begin here on NBC Tuesday, October the 4th, when we'll present Game 1 of the National League Series starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC. Bruce Hopper to the 20, 25, 30, 35, up to the 36-yard line. Flag on the play. That is a phrase you have heard throughout the ball game today. Hopper was hit down by wide receiver Eddie Foster, also seeing action on the special teams. Personal foul against Houston. Face mask. That Houston scoring drive leading to the Pastorini quarterback sneak consumed 5
personal
15,
foul.
5 minutes, 15 seconds.
Mask, number 22.
18 plays, 88
First
yards.
down.
Zeke Moore, veteran cornerback, is the man who grabbed the face mask. So the Jets get a break. First down at the Houston 49-yard line. Now Todd to the air. He's trailing 14-0. Throws the middle. Intended for Knight. Up. David Knight popped pretty good by the strong safety Mike Reinfeld.
Show you the inexperience of Todd. He threw to Knight, who was covered by at least 3 people. He had number 33 Kevin Long coming out of the backfield into the flat on the other side of the field, and he was wide open.
Richard Todd, only 5 for 13 for 45 yards. The rookie Shelton Diggs flanked to the right side. And Kevin Long and Scott Durking, a pair of rookies, are now in that Jet backfield. Here's Todd, straight back, looking for Diggs, incomplete. Triple coverage that time. Willie Alexander was there, among several Houston Oilers. Alexander, the right cornerback. Shelton Diggs, picked up by the Jets just the other day from Atlanta. 5th round draft pick of the Falcons. Comes off a brilliant senior year at the University of Southern California. There's Diggs.
I hate to stay on Todd's case, but I'll tell you, if I was that receiver, I'd go back and say, there's got to be someone open when there are 4 people on me. Somebody else has got to be on one-on-one.
It is a 3rd and 10 now for Richard Todd. Big rush. Todd gets it away, throwing in a crowd and underthrown. Dirking the intended receiver, Ted Washington, leading that assault on Todd. Tough defense by the Houston Oilers as Todd heads off. Elvin Bethea shaken up as he pursued Todd, and Bethea heading to the sideline. I think it'd be hard to shake up Elvin at 6'2", 255. All right, the Jets in front formation now. Wayne Carroll to boot away to Billy Johnson. Johnson to the 5-10. Went sideline, had no running room, and Cole was able to cut back. And Houston developing a pretty good brigade in front. Johnson at 45, 40, 35, 30.
Oh!
One down, across the 30-yard line.
Marv, if he cuts back to the inside, he's got a touchdown. You know, it's very unusual. Billy Johnson is probably the only guy in football that they let return the ball when it's kicked over his head inside the 10. Now watch what happens. He goes to the sidelines. He doesn't go out of bounds. Cuts back in. And this is where a lot of people get injured, really, because of crackback blocks. Marbeso 47 misses him, and now the wall's set. But when he gets down near the end down here, if he cuts back in right here, he's got a touchdown. But he cut back into the tackler.
71-yard return by Johnson. A timeout. Houston leads him 14.
Unbelievable. Meet one of the Dodge Aspen believers.
Believe it.
You have a Dodge Aspen like this one?
Sure do.
Why do you believe in it?
I like the ride.
How'd you come to pick your Aspen?
Well, my boyfriend was looking at Dodge trucks, and I looked at the Dodge cars.
And you became an Aspen believer.
After I drove it.
Did you get a good deal in it?
Yes, they're not giving them away, but that's a good deal.
The Dodge Aspen. See it, price it, drive it, and believe.
When you're thirsting for a beer or two, but what you're doing isn't through, that's the time to take a natural break.
Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Brewed naturally with nothing artificial to give you a crisp, refreshing beer that won't fill you up, so it won't slow you down.
Hey, give me a hand! Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. It's time to
Take a natural break.
The Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, part of an NFL doubleheader in most areas, next Sunday on NBC.
And there is a huffing and puffing Billy White Shoes Johnson, 15-round draft pick back in 1974, who just returned that punt 71 yards, setting up 1st and 10 for Houston at the Jet 27-yard line. Slot left formation. Pitch back for Coleman. And the play is blown dead. Back at the 30 as Richard Neal got to Ronnie Coleman. We'll have to see where they spot it. It is a loss of 3, so a 2nd and 13 coming up now for the Oilers.
You know, Marv, even though the Houston Oilers at this point are winning 14-0, they really have to be concerned with their running game. They've got to go back and take an awfully hard look at this thing and see if they can open it up some way with some plays wide, you know. But they're really not doing anything as far as the running game is concerned.
There's Coleman once again, and Coleman able to spin his way down near the 25-yard line. Ron Coleman, Houston's top rusher last year with 684 yards, averaging about 4 per carry. That time stopped by Puddle and Salam. Coleman apparently hurt his hand as he was hauled down inside the 25-yard line. It is a 3rd and about 8. Rob Carpenter has come on. It's a slot right once again for Houston. 9:40 remaining 4th quarter, and Houston leading the New York Jets 14-0. Pastorini now to the air. Goes sideline, and Burrow not able to come up with it. He was jarred pretty good by the right cornerback, number 38, Ed Taylor. There's 0-0, 8-year pro out of Texas Southern, Ken Burrow.
Oh, here's Butler.
Well, with the fourth down situation, the crowd greeting Skip Butler. Skip has not had a day that he would like to remember. He has missed 3 field goals. He has hurt it pretty good for the crowds here in Houston past few seasons. This will be a 41-yard attempt. Hato holding. And it is blocked. Picked up by number 39, Maurice Tyler, so the Jets will take over. There's a timeout on the field with the score, Houston 14, Jets nothing.
Sears National Automotive Sale. Sears brings back 73 prices again on our best-selling steel-belted radio with a tough roads heritage. As low as $39.88. On sale now. If your car has over 20,000 miles on it, now's the time to drive into Sears for a free shock absorber check. While Sears heavy-duty shocks are on sale for just $4.99 each. You save over 35% at Sears.
Son, could I use your car tonight?
Sure. Don't forget to put some gas in it.
Every family should have at least one diehard. The maintenance-free diehard has extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
LA 15-7 Mary 3 and 4 in pursuit. 211
Fly with the Chips, California Highway Patrol Cops. Thursday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time on NBC.
The snap is a little bit high to Hato right here. You're going to see it. But Pillar's number 76 is the man that blocks. You see how high the snap is? It does throw the kicker's timing off a little bit, but the kick is low. And right in the middle of your screen, you're going to see Pillar's right here block it. Good play. Hit him in the armpit.
All right, Paul, first down for the Jets now at the 19-yard line. They're trailing 14-0. So Todd looking for a receiver and has to eat it. Curly Colt, number 78. Getting to Richard Todd. Wesley Walker was the guy Todd was looking for.
I thought you said Bethea was hurt. You walked off, Marv. Watch these two guys. Now watch Curly Colt. He comes straight up the middle. Beats the center. Puts the pressure on Todd. When he moves out, there's Bethea, 65 in on the play. Makes the tackle. And Colt comes back and gets Todd. Good play.
Now Todd in a 2nd and 23, back at the 6-yard line. 2 rookie running backs are in there, Scott Gerke and they could clock gains with Kevin Long. James Young and Robert Brazil combining on gains. Houston Oilers defensive unit allowing only 6 points in the fourth quarter in preseason. This year, Houston looking to bounce back from a record of 5-9 last season after the surprise 10-up, 4 down back in 1975. And last year, Houston opened up at 4-1 and then lost 8 of 9. 3rd and long, but penalty marker thrown down now as Todd made it to the end zone.
I think Houston had to be a little fired up today when they heard that Cincinnati score, Cleveland beating Cincinnati. But again, you've got to go back and take a look at their
starts, number 78, offense, 3rd down.
And take a look at their offensive running game, because they're not going to win an awful lot of games with the offensive running game that they have. They've got, you can't pass all year long. You're going to eventually get some of those guys on the outside killed, those receivers.
Procedure penalty called on Pence. Jets have rushed only for 75 yards and passed for only 22 thus far. Todd gets it away, and it is completed to Wesley Walker. off a beautiful move up the middle. Ted Washington, the outside linebacker, bringing Walker down. So the rookie out of the University of California brings it out to the 28-yard line, and they will measure.
That was a perfect pass by Todd. There was only a three-man rush by Houston. He had all the time in the world, and the linebackers didn't get deep enough. Put the ball right on the money for a first down.
Well, the Jets pick it up on the Todd Walker hookup. Setting the Jets offensive line, Gary Petts, Marvin Powell at the tackles, Randy Rasmussen, Darrell Austin at the guards.
There's Todd back now. You're going to see that there's only really a three-man rush, and then at the last part, Brazil gets in. And then Wesley Walker just beats the linebacker, Bingham.
Jets first down at their 29-yard line, 7:40. Remaining fourth quarter, that's Hopper peeling left. Completed to Hopper, 35, 40, and knocked out of bounds at about the 44. Glenn Stemrick, the left cornerback, number 27, making the stop on Bruce Hopper. It's a 15-yard advance. First down for the Jets up at their 44-yard line.
And they're doing the one thing that really stops the outside blitzing linebacker. Brazil, that time, number 52 came out. Bingham did not slide over and cover the outside, and they just slipped the ball out to Harper, and he got a 15-yard gain. Good call. Beautiful play.
Houston with a front three of James Young, Curly Colt, Elvin Buffet, the linebackers, Washington, Panger, Bingham, and Brazier. Again, Hopper peels left. And Todd looks to go to the right side, but underthrows Barkham. Jerome Barkham, the intended receiver, covered by Alexander. Elvin Buffet with the rush on the quarterback, Todd. 2nd and 10 for the Jets now at the 44. There you see Shelton Diggs, number 80, checking back in, replacing David Knight. Hopper and Durking are the running backs. Now they're back to the regular pro set. Diggs to the right, but Hopper peels off. And Todd again pursued. He fumbles the ball.
It's going to be a touchdown if he can make it.
Let's see, can he get it? No, he's caught from behind. Check that, it was Curly Colt. Caught from behind. Durking caught him.
They did not blow the ball dead right here. You're going to see it. The rush is on. There's Alvin Bethea. He gets in. Young really strips him of the ball right here, and the ball's laying there on the ground. Alvin Bethea can't see it. Did you see the tackle? Powell, Marvin Powell, number 79, standing there watching as Curly Culp reached down and picked the ball up.
And it's a 1st and goal down at the 3-yard line.
And as the defense left, they said to the offense, you better score this trip.
Yeah. James Young, as Paul mentioned, stripping the ball from Todd. He made the key play. And this is Tim Wilson. Shy of the goal line. Wilson hurdling, but not able to pick up the score.
At number 77, James Young, is interesting story anymore.
Young is a 27-year-old rookie, actually a first-year player because he had a cup of coffee with the Redskins. Took a leave of absence from the fire department here in Houston and is playing football.
Well, he's got Monday off. He can work Mondays.
Yeah. 2nd and goal now. Down at the 1. Again, Wilson. And once again, he is stopped short of the goal line. Tim Wilson at 6'3", 220 pounds, looking to power his way through.
Here's where all the meat goes to work down here. Pillars, number 76, really is the man that stops him again in there. The big guy along with Eversole, and they didn't make it. And I'll tell you, I kept saying this before, they've got to be awful concerned about this offensive line blocking on running plays. New York's just beating him to the punch.
It is now 3rd and goal. Inches away. This time there's Carpenter. the rookie out of Miami of Ohio, Rob Carpenter, with his first touchdown of the National Football League to give the Houston Oilers a 20-0 lead.
Just a mass of bodies down there, and Rob Carpenter goes right over the top. And it's a good thing he only had 6 inches to go, because you see right here, he just does make it.
Let's see now, Paul. We have 5:50 to go, fourth quarter. It's 20-0. And for those of you who saw NFL 77, the pregame show earlier today, Stats had the Oilers beating the Jets 20-10. All right.
Well, there's enough time for that.
Skip Butler.
There's your 20
on the extra point. I'm beginning to wonder about Stats. Timeout on the field. Oilers 20, Jets nothing.
Now, a natural and synthetic motor oil, Pennzoil PZL, protects for double the miles. Double the miles of the longest oil change recommendation by car manufacturers. Today's tough driving conditions can cause motor oil to lose its ability to protect sooner than you may expect. You could be driving your oil too far, and that's why you need Pennzoil PZL. Protects for double the miles.
You're about to be welcomed to one of the best hotels in the world. The hotels with the best locations. Near the things you want to be near. The hotels with the best system of standards for comfort and taking care of you. The hotels that take care of more travelers than anybody else. Holiday Inn welcomes you to some of the best hotels in the world.
Paul, is it possible that Skip Butler is really Stats in disguise?
They must have known something when they must have fed Skip Butler into Stats, because it's beautiful the way this could turn out that 20-10 that he predicted.
And as Butler kicks off, he is hearing it from the crowd. He's missed 3 field goals and an extra point. Here's Bruce Hopper on the return across the 30-yard line. Bill Courier making the low tackle on Hopper, and the Jets will go to work trailing here 20-0 with 5:41 left. First down at the 30-yard line. As I mentioned on the NFL 77 pregame show, Stats predicted the Jets would lose to the Oilers 20-10. Let's see what happens following the ball game. NFL 77 will bring you up to date on all the scores from around the National Football League. And it's been a wild day. Many surprises. The handoff to the rookie Kevin Long on the slant to the right. He's stopped by Ted Washington. Outside linebacker on the left side. Houston Oiler drive, consuming only 27 seconds off Jimmy Young stripping Richard Todd of the ball. And that led to Curly Culp running it down to the 3. And finally, Rob Carpenter able to take it home. Long picked up 4. 2nd and 6 now at the 35. This Long in motion to the left. And here's Todd back to throw. And completes out of midfield to the tight end, Jerome Barkham. Preseason, Barkham and Castor switched positions. Barkham going to tight end. Richard Castor, who's been a major loss for the Jets, as we mentioned earlier, out with a broken hand. He's out another 4 to 6 weeks. But things were really clicking, Paul, with Castor out at wide receiver and Barkham at tight end. First and 10 at the 49-yard line. On the draw, it is Tom Newton, the rookie out of the University of California. Elvin Buffet makes the stop.
But you got to admit, though, that Knight really has filled in pretty well for Castor since his departure, and he's catching the ball well today when they're throwing it to him.
Jets now have Shelton Diggs and David Knight at the wide receiver positions. Knight is to the left side, and Diggs, number 80, at the bottom of his screen. 2nd and 4 at the 44. And Todd able to hit Long. But Long was immediately hauled down by Robert Brazil. Leaping catch by the rookie out of South Carolina, number 33, Kevin Long. short of a first down. A look at head coach Walt Michaels. His Jets trailing here 20-0 with 3 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 4 now for the Jets at the Houston 44. Todd looking sideline, and it is scooped up by Barker. Art Springer making the stop. The Jets pick up the first down. Oakland leading San Diego 24-0 in the 3rd, and the stats on the ball right here, although there's still plenty of time to go. Stats had Oakland scoring 24. Just under 3 remaining, fourth quarter. Jets with a backfield of Tom Newton and Kevin Long. And this is Long. Penalty marker down as Long carries to the 28. Willie Alexander, the right cornerback. Ted Washington, outside linebacker on the left, combining to make the stop. Offside is the call against the Houston Oilers.
You know, that's interesting because that's the second time that Washington is lined up offside. And I was going to say that during the course of this game, here comes the penalty.
Number 59, defense, first down.
That's Washington. The thing about it is we've seen some great linebacking on both teams. Martin, Ebersol, and Buttle for New York. They've played extremely well. And, of course, Brazil and Washington for Houston on the outside. Just doing a great job for linebackers.
1st and 5 now. And the rookie Long with a burst inside the 20-yard line. Stopped by Al Burt, but the Jets able to pick up the first down. Houston Oiler bench. Willie Johnson, number 84, watching in low-key fashion. Oilers up by the score of 20-0. That's first down now at the Houston 19-yard line. There's Todd throwing the middle, but underthrown. Headed for Wesley Walker, number 85. Greg Stemrick covering on the play. Stemrick and Alexander at the corners. Courier and Reinfeld are the deep men as you look at the Jet huddle.
You mentioned stats calling this game 20-10 and Oakland getting 24 points. Do you know the stats bet? Does he bet? He has to look at some of the spreads and bet a little bit.
Of course, you can check stats out on NFL 77. Stats makes mind bets. Clean living. All right, here's Todd in trouble. Goes sideline. Nearly picked off the hands of Bruce Hopper. Greg Bingham had a shot at it. It will be a 3rd and 10 coming up now with 2:03 remaining fourth quarter. No, the Oilers would love to pick up the blank as we go down to the final minutes. Houston with Green Bay next week. And the Jets will play the Baltimore Colts at Giant Stadium. 3rd and 10 for Todd. Intended for Walker, again deflected away. And Art Springer, number 53, the man who got a piece of it. Wesley Walker, the intended receiver, down at the goal line. All right, the 2-minute warning now has been provided as a timeout of the field. Houston leading the Jets by the score of 20-0.
When you're thirsting for a beer or two, but what you're doing isn't through, that's the time to take a natural break.
Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Brewed naturally with nothing artificial to give you a crisp, refreshing beer that won't fill you up, so it won't slow you down.
Take a natural break. Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. It's time to
Take a natural break.
Look, Holmes, the car that fought the Chevy owners.
Dodge introduces a fiendishly seductive new car in dashing two-door and brilliantly understated four-door, the Diplomat.
And some devil, this Diplomat.
More seductive luxury and available features than you ever hoped for in a manageable new size. The new mid-priced Diplomat.
The Ford and Chevy owner disappearances are solved, Watson. Carnapping, all right?
Diplomat, the fiendishly seductive new car at your Dodge dealers now.
By Jove, Holmes. By Diplomat, Watson.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Astrodome in Houston. The Oilers leading the Jets 20-0. And the Jets 4th and 10 now from the Houston 19. And here's Todd. Incomplete. Headed for Hopper down at the 5. Zeke Moore covering Hopper on the play. So the Jet drive is stopped. Houston taking over at the 19. There's the All-Pro, number 22, Zeke Moore, 11-year man out of Lincoln University.
You know, you said that Houston would like to stop him and shut him out here, and it is important. The defense, they look like they were playing in the first period. Hard, tough defense because they like to have a shutout, and it's a great thing to their credit.
Defensive coach for the Oilers, one-time Jet coach Ed Biles, and you know he has to be very satisfied. Oilers take over at their 19-yard line. They have the rookies in there. That's Tim Wilson on the slant up to the 23-yard line. Wilson coming off the outstanding preseason. Leading rusher, leading receiver, very tough power runner and blocker. Hennessy and Ebersol making the stop. That's a 4, 2nd and 6 now for Houston. Taking their time, just running the clock down. 1:25 left now.
You know, even though the score is 20-0, the Jets, I think, have to be happy with their defense.
Again, Wilson tried to go wide, but was cut off by Buttle out of the 25-yard line. So Tim Wilson picking up 2 on the play with just under a minute remaining. Oilers say that they're aware that Wilson could block, catch, and could run, could go inside the tackles. Paul not aware that he could go outside because at Maryland apparently they never ran to the outside.
Well, he doesn't have that blazing speed that the halfback should have, or that you'd like to have. He's just a good, solid runner, and he's got good hands, and he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Just 30 seconds left. 3rd and 4 now for Houston. Just running the clock down. Again, the give to Wilson. Stopped by the right defensive tackle, Abdul Salam, and that will be the last play of the ball game. Time runs down. 10 seconds to go now. Oilers just milling around. 3 seconds now. 2, 1, and that is it. The Houston Oilers on opening day have defeated the New York Jets by the score of 20-0. For Paul McGuire, this is Marv Albert saying so long from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Stay tuned for NFL 77.
See the season premiere on the Oregon Trail starring Rod Taylor, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
To get ahead these days, you got to keep on your toes. So I've got something to keep my competition flat-footed. Sunoco's penny pinching pump. It has 190, the gas that's made to sell below my regular, and 220, the gas that sells below my premium. So if your car runs on regular or premium, my pump could save you money on quality gas. Listen, if I don't want you to go right by me, I got to do right by you. Sunoco's penny pinching pump could fill up your tank for less. That's my way of being very friendly.
If you're a small businessman, European American Bank announces a way for you to have money instantly. For inventory, expansion, or whatever you need, whenever you need it. Introducing a new service, the EAB Small Business Credit Account. Qualify, and you get a credit line of up to $25,000. To use it? You just write a check. It's really that simple. European American Bank's new Small Business Credit Account. It puts money in your hands when you need it.
Sprinkler cap for fun. And free. Ask your mom, dad, or super to get one from the police station. Sprinkler cap for fun. And they're free.
Join Richard Reeves Monday on News Center 4 at 5.
The Sperry NFL Report, brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, where the big idea is making machines do more so man can do more. Hi, Lee Leonard, along with Brian Gumble for our post-game rundown of today's action, the scores and the highlights in the National Football League, as well as other sports news. The Atlanta Falcons staged a big upset today, beating the Los Angeles Rams 17-6. A good debut for new head coach Lehman Bennett. He beat his old boss out there in Los Angeles. Joe Namath was 15-30 for 141 yards. But the Los Angeles problems, defense, and the fact that they could only get 9 first downs rushing during the entire game. Cleveland Browns beat the Cincinnati Bengals 13-3. Brian Seif had a big day, 15-22, 198 yards. That is another big upset.
Lee, the Battle of Ohio was all Cleveland in the first half. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights in that game. Their offense dominated the first half. Their defense dominated the second half. As you mentioned, Brian Seif got it rolling right here in the first period, going up top and going deep. David Logan, this one good for a 42-yard gain. They set up their first field goal and made it 3-0 Browns early on in the ball game. Still in the first quarter, Seif came back this time using Greg Pruitt. You want to see a super catch. Watch the little guy go up to this. Comes down with a 40-yard gain for that one, set up yet another field goal. That made it 6-0 Browns over the Bengals. In the second quarter, Pruitt's teammate, Larry Poole, got into the act on the ground this time, sweeping right end, 13 yards for the touchdown. Point after was good. It was 13-0 Browns at the half. In the second half, the Cincinnati defense tried to get the Bengals back into the game. Kurt Gowdy has the call.
Right. Out of the pocket, Kemp. Intercepted. 50-yard line. Reggie Williams has it. There's the first turnover by the Browns in the game. And Cincinnati has the ball in the Browns territory.
Wilson Whitley, the rookie tackle, was the man credited with the tip that created the interception, but the Cincinnati offense just couldn't generate much activity. Whenever they got a drive going, mistakes plagued them. Mistakes like this one. Kenny Anderson rolling to his left, hit by Mike St. Clair, ball comes loose. Cleveland defense is all over. The play was indicative of the aggressiveness Cleveland showed all day, and Lee, I guess they are going to surprise people again this year.
They certainly are. Ron Jaworski kept telling Mount Los Angeles that he could play quarterback. Well, he can, but he's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles now, and he led that team to a 13-3 victory over Tampa Bay, threw for 15 for 25 and 147 yards overall. The Giants pulled out a real cliffhanger over George Allen, 20-17. First time George has ever lost an opening game as a head coach in the NFL, and the Giants did it with a late field goal. We have some highlights from that one, too.
We certainly do. In the first quarter, Billy Kilmer got his pass intercepted by young George Martin, a defensive end. It was the last place Kilmer expected to be stopped. He was back on his own 30-yard line when it happened. Look at Martin, 75, nothing but a lot of green in front of him at that point. Into the end zone, the Giants took an early lead, 7-0. Well, in the fourth quarter, the Giants were up 10-7 over Washington, and the Redskins had first and goal at the 3-yard line. This time, Billy Kilmer gets it up and over to John Riggins, makes it 14-10. It was 17-10 Washington with 3 minutes to play, and this deflected pass to Ed Marshall set them up for a touchdown that tied the ball game at 17-all. Moments later, Mike Thomas was stripped of the ball by Troy Archer. Harry Carson came up with the ball and gave the Giants a chance to pull off an upset. Joe Danello was the man that did the honors then. 30-yard field goal. You see the clock at 7 and counting, and that's the boot that they loved over in New Jersey. Giants will win it today 20-17, and that rivalry has never been a really great one for George Allen. I'm sure he's having bad feelings about it tonight, Lee.
Actually, it wasn't a good one for either team, with almost 200 yards in penalties assessed. NFL 77 will continue after this word from Sperry.
I want you to meet my new business partner. He's a management genius, a whiz with figures, and he doesn't cost me much. Here he is. Sperry Univac's BC7 computer. What I really like about BC is he speaks and understands English, so we don't need a professional programmer. Inventory, please. It only took us a few days to get to know each other. And now he gives me any fact I need in seconds. Inventory or payroll, order entry, anything. He doesn't need a big office or special air conditioning. He even has his own health plan. If BC doesn't feel good, I just call these guys. Sperry Univac. What a partner. He's teaching me more about my business than I ever knew before. Hey, partner, how do you like your coffee? With or without?
Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
The New England Patriots beat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-17. That was expected. What wasn't expected was the fact that Kansas City came out of the gate quickly, scoring 2 touchdowns. They were ahead 14-0 before the Patriots woke up. But when they did, watch out.
They certainly did. They got 2 touchdowns from Darryl Stingley in that first half, one coming just about a moment before the half ended. We're going to take a look at the first one right here. It's a pretty good play on a reverse. Brogan will give it to Don Calhoun, number 44. He gives it to Stingley, and number 84 is off to the races. Untouched, 35 yards for the touchdown. They had another one of 14-14 at the half. Then they came back in the second half, and Patriots showed us a little determination. 21-17 final.
Miami Dolphins pitched a shutout against the Buffalo Bills 13-0. Buffalo fumbled 7 times in that game, but they only lost the ball once. And the question is, if they did not score, how did O.J. do?
O.J. didn't have too great a day. He was 21 carries, 71 yards for him. In fact, for the whole Buffalo offense, it was just one of those days. The rain and the Miami defense made things very rough. Take a look here. Trailing 13-0 with a drive going down in the 20. This is the kind of thing that happened all day. O.J. fumbles the pitch out. Ferguson finally falls on it. Now, by this time, the drive is dead. Buffalo shut out for the first time since 1973 as the Dolphins come up with 13-zip winner.
And it was the Dolphins that shut him out last time, too, as a matter of fact. The Chicago Bears 30 and the Detroit Lions 20. Walter Payton, a big day, 2 touchdowns, 160 yards rushing on 23 carries. So he's far ahead now in the race for rushing honors with O.J. Simpson after 1 of the 14 regular season games. And the Green Bay Packers took the New Orleans Saints by a 24-20 score. Archie Manning for the Saints had a big day, 18 of 30 for 223 yards, but it didn't help. 24-20 Green Bay. NFL 77 will be back after this word on third.
Man against the sea. An ancient challenge with modern complications. More and bigger ships. The biggest ships that ever sailed. The supertanker. As much as 500,000 tons of oil afloat and moving. All the responsibility of one man. To help him, Sperry developed a computerized collision avoidance system. It shows the captain the position, speed, and course of as many as 40 ships for ranges up to 25 miles. And it shows him how to avoid them. This Sperry system helps ships get where they're going safely. And it helps protect the sea they share. Another example of Sperry Rand Corporation's commitment to the future. Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
The Baltimore Colts got off and running against the Seattle Seahawks. As expected, the final in that game was 29-14. And the New York Jets went out to the Astrodome where the Oilers bopped them by a 20-0 score. And in that game, this is what happened.
Everybody knows the Jets' defense isn't really that bad. It's offensively where they're having problems, and Richard Todd is having a lot of them. This is how things went for the guys in white today. Right there, Curly Culp. Not the fleetest person in the world, but he comes along, 3 balls, 3 fields. He takes it, runs it about 19 yards before he's pulled down. They scored again. 20-zip was the final. Jets may be in for another long year.
Okay, they certainly might. In games that aren't over yet, the Oakland Raiders are leading the San Diego Chargers 24-0. That was fairly well expected. 7-0, the Denver Broncos over the St. Louis Cardinals in the 4th period. For the Cardinals not to score for 3.5 periods is unusual. And in a big game, Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings, they are tied at 10-all and playing in overtime. 10-10 overtime right now. NFL 77 will be back right after this word from Sperry.
There are people in this country who wouldn't have food on the table, a roof over their heads, or clothes for their children without some kind of welfare relief. But there's a much larger group that also needs relief. The people who pay for welfare, the taxpayer. Here in Los Angeles County, something's being done about it. Sperry Univac is helping to computerize millions of welfare records. Now welfare workers can find information in seconds, where it used to take hours or days. It's estimated that this will save $10 million tax dollars a year in welfare costs without cutting benefits a dime. Helping people on welfare, as well as those who pay for it, is one more way Sperry Univac computers are enabling our government to help more people for fewer tax dollars.
Another example of Sperry Rand Corporation's commitment to the future. Sperry, making machines do more so man can do more.
Quick look at a couple of baseball scores. The Yankees beat Detroit 6-5, and Boston beat Baltimore 10-4. That's good for the Yankees because Baltimore is in second place. Over in the National League, Atlanta 7, the Dodgers 6, Cincinnati 2, San Francisco nothing. Both at the end of 8. So maybe the Dodgers won't clinch after all today. But there's always tomorrow. However, we want to talk right now about something we did earlier this afternoon with stats, and Brian Gumbel is over there with Regina Haskins to find out how he did.
Okay, Regina, you were earlier with our computerized robot Stats, who gave us the calls for today's game. How did he do with his predictions?
Well, to be perfectly honest, he didn't set the world on fire today, but I think it's important to point out that there's parts that in order to feed a computer, you've got to have information. Well, obviously, any information they had for Stats was gathered last year, and they tried to make the projections off of this. And it is, as it is for most odds makers or anyone else playing the games early in the year, it's very difficult. The very
he was
first
above
game.
The 500 level.
But right now, we've got him about 6-5. There are a couple games still in progress, which isn't too bad. Of course, the rain upset Stats in that Buffalo-Miami game. And the loss of Shirk and Warfield didn't seem to do anything to Cleveland. They just clobbered him.
Real quick, I think he was dead on in Baltimore-Seattle, though, wasn't
he? Yeah, that was his big one today. He's only 1 point off. He called it 30-14, and it's 29-14.
We'll give him another shot.
That's
We'll see
right.
what happens. Okay.
Should do better next time.
Lee?
First, you can't program rain into a computer either, and that did happen in Buffalo. Hey, we have a big week coming up next week. Our featured game, of course, will be Pittsburgh and Oakland, and before that, we are going to take a real close look at those two clubs and why they don't like each other. Here's the rundown. 1 o'clock, Baltimore and the Jets, Seattle, Cincinnati. 2 o'clock, San Diego, Kansas City, Houston, Green Bay. 4 o'clock, these are the games we'll have: Buffalo, Denver, Miami, San Francisco, Oakland, Pittsburgh. Wow. That's it for the first Sunday. Lee Leonard for Brian Gumbel. Thank you for being with us. The Sperry NFL Report has been brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, where the big idea is making machines do more so man can do more.
Hot young comic Richard Pryor with his own show, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Dan and Barb wanted style. They got themselves a Dodge. Fred needed a pickup at a price he could afford and got himself a Dodge. Doug needed lots of space. He got himself a Dodge. Well, Jane wanted freedom, so she got herself a Dodge. Sam needed a roomy cab. He got himself a Dodge. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they need. For the last 10 years, that's what's made Dodge the fastest-growing truck company in America.
I'm Ben Rosenthal, and I'm for Ed Koch.
I'm Charlie Rangel, and I'm for Ed Koch.
I'm Bess Meyerson, and I'm for Ed Koch.
I'm Steve Solars, and I'm for Ed Koch.
I'm Herman Badillo, and I'm for Ed Koch.
Ed Koch doesn't just talk about bringing people together. He's doing it. And now he needs your support. Vote for Ed Koch for mayor this Monday, September 19th. New York needs Ed Koch as mayor.
Rossetti and Ryan are attorneys who really defend the poor, the downtrodden, those who make terrible mistakes.
That's right, Frank, and I've seen your weather reports, and you're going to need the best defense you can get.
Your best defense, Frank's Weather Watch. Channel 4, New York.